live button.
Oh, okay, you realize it.
I was you. Don't say nothing crazy. We live. We officially LIVE.
Okay.
Hey, you can't take it back. It's out there.
Con.
It's out there right now, yep.
All right. Yes, sir.
Okay, you ready for me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my question is in the book of Acts chapter 28 and verse 26. This is about the grafted in Gentiles, I could say, whatever. It's along those lines, the question.
Acts 28.
Yes.
What verse?
I guess we can start 26, I guess. That's like really where the crux of it. I don't know if you want to start up, read up, whatever, but I think it's just like where I want to focus is like the verses 26 and 28.
You say you want to read up or you want to read 28?
I mean it's up to you because I know sometimes you like to read up, but I think that like what I want to, but my question like focuses like on these two verses, on these like it's 2 or 3 verses though. But I mean, if you want to, we can read up if you want to. I don't know if you want to or not, but my question goes like this: is that it's about like because when you read this, it reads that Paul is like, like the Israelites are not actually listening to, so he looks like he's going to go to the Gentiles instead because they're not like because they're what do you call them? It says the hearts of the people are wax gross and their ears are dull of hearing. So then he's going to turn his way to the Gentiles. I'm like, see, brother, that's like it's like we go out to the Gentiles, man, because the Israelites they don't listen.
All right, let's start at verse 20. Let's just start up. Let's start at verse
Okay, 20? Okay, I got you. I got it. So when everybody get there, I can start reading it.
Yeah, so we get.
I'm there.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, reading from the book of Acts chapter 28, starting verse 20, it reads, "For this cause, therefore, I called for you to see you and to speak with you, because that of the people of Israel I am bound with this chain."
For the hope of Israel,
Con.
for the hope of Israel, am I bound with this chain?
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
For the hope of who?
Israel.
Israel. It says Israel.
Oh, my bad.
So he has a chain on him. He's locked down, locked in, and that's for the hope of Israel.
All right.
That's what he's been chained to and locked into.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Say, I'm bound with this chain. He's shackled.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, verse 21, and it reads, "And they said unto him, We neither received letters out of Judea concerning thee, neither any of the brethren that came showed or spake any harm of thee."
Go ahead.
Verse 22, "But we desire to hear of thee what thou thinkest, for as concerning this sect, we know that everywhere it is spoken against."
The sect, of course, is the sect of the Nazarenes, right? It's been spoken of against everywhere. So this way Paul reached to Rome, these Israelites in Rome called him, right? Because they wanted to speak to him. And they say, we didn't get no letters from Judea concerning you, neither any brethren showed or spake any harm against you. He said, but we desire to hear what you think.
Okay.
He said, for as concerning this sect, the Nazarene sect, we know that everywhere it is spoken against. This is what the Jews in Rome are telling Paul, right? This is what they responded to him. So they want to hear from Paul. So Paul is getting ready to respond. All right.
Okay.
He didn't hear you.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. Okay. Verse 23. And when they had appointed him a day, there came many to him into his lodging, to whom he expounded and testified the kingdom of God. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Persuading them concerning Jesus, both out of the law of Moses and out of the prophets, from the morning till evening.
We see what he was doing. He was basically repeating what Christ was speaking. The kingdom of God. When Christ came here, that's what he said. The kingdom of God is at hand, right? He's saying the same thing. He said he's persuading them concerning Jesus, meaning he's the Messiah, right? Both out of the law of Moses, he did it, right? The first 5 books. He says, and out of the prophets, right? It says, and he did it from when? From morning till evening.
Yes.
Okay. So we see how long it took him. I mean, this wasn't a quick wham bam thing. It took him some time to do this, right? Go ahead.
Verse 24. And some believed these things which were spoken, and some believed not.
Which is crazy, because listen, he came out of their writings, law of Moses and the prophets. So some believed which was spoken, and some believed not, right? Go ahead.
And verse 25. And when they agreed not among themselves, they departed. After that, Paul had spoken one word. Spoke the Holy Ghost by Esaias the prophet unto our fathers.
So now he's quoting the prophet, right?
Oh, so he's quoting the prophet now. Okay, I got you. Okay.
Because it says that when they agreed not among themselves,
right,
and they left. It says after that, Paul had spoken one word. Paul didn't say just one word, like just one.
right.
Right.
The one word was the whole teaching that he taught. You know what I'm saying? The one word
Gotcha.
was the teaching.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
The law and the Torah.
Yes.
Right, Colin.
Go ahead.
All right, verse 26. Saying, go unto this people and say, hearing ye shall hear and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see and not perceive.
Clearly, right? That's prophesied. They quoting the prophet, and he's saying that applies to them. They're hearing what he's saying, but then they should not understand. See, they shall see, but they shall not perceive. They're not catching, right? Going over their head. Go ahead.
Verse 27. For the heart of these people is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes were they closed, lest they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their hearts, and should be converted, and I should heal them.
Right. So for the heart, really, the mind of this people is waxed gross. Okay. It's got rust on it.
Yes.
And their ears are dull of hearing. Right? People are saying stuff to you, but you're not catching it because you're not sharp. You're hearing sharp. You catch certain words like, wait, I caught that. Right? People say a lot of you don't catch it because we go right past you because you are dull of hearing. Other people catch you real quick, like, whoa, I caught that, bro. You ain't slick. I caught that just now. What you said just now. You ain't slick. You're gonna slide some past me, the little slick words. You ain't slick. I caught that. It's sharp. It says, and their eyes, they close their eyes.
Right.
They have closed their eyes. It says, least they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart, their mind, and should be converted, right? From that darkness, that grossness, right? Information, and I should heal them. So the way you get healed, you got to be converted. Come out of them lies, come out of that nonsense. You got to come out of that so you can be healed. Now we get to the brother's question here now, all right?
Here we go. Here it is. Okay, verse 28.
Let's go.
But it known therefore unto you that the salvation of God is sent unto the Gentiles, and that they will hear it. See, brother, it said it right here. It said it right here. Since Israel is wax gross, just like you said, brother, you gotta turn to the Gentiles, man, because they're the ones that are gonna hear it, brother. What you gotta say about that?
Okay, that's it. That's the question right there.
Yeah.
Really? You sure?
Yes. I'm positive. I want to hear you come back on this. That's why I asked.
Hold on. Let me bring someone else just came in. Let me bring them in.
Okay.
Let's see who that is.
Oh, T-Miles, okay.
Oh, T-Mizzle. Off the hizzle.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Makim.
Shabbat shalom, brothers.
Shabbat shalom to you, man.
Shabbat
Oh,
shalom.
yeah. Go ahead. Shabbat shalom, man.
All right, you can stop the way. All right. Okay, T-Miles, we're in Acts chapter 28, verse 28.
Come.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Acts 28. His question is on verse 28. It says, be it known therefore unto you that the salvation of God is sent unto the Gentiles, and they will hear it.
Yes.
So you're asking, are these real non-Israelites? Is that the question?
I mean, hey, I ain't gotta ask. It's right there. Hey, man, it's 100% right there. It says it right there, man. It's like, man, like that's the best proof I can say. Gentiles, bro. Like, it's no clearer than that, right?
No clearer than what? That's unclear.
Said that to the Gentiles.
Wait a minute. Are Israelites called Gentiles?
I would say yes. I would say yes, definitely.
Okay, so then this could be Israelite then, right? Yes or no?
It could be. It could be.
Okay.
But like, is it?
Is it? Oh, the question is it?
Yes. Yes.
Can we come on to the book of? We say the same book. We ain't leaving the book. We stay right in the book of Acts. Let's go back to Acts chapter 4.
Okay.
Let me get the word.
Hey, I forgot I gotta ask him the question. I forgot, my bad. You good. We're getting there.
Let me confirm the chapter.
Chapter 4, verse 10.
Let me get it.
I was just about to ask, chapter 4, what verse?
Oh, he's getting to it. He let us know.
Yeah. I just want to get the right verse so we can go ahead and read it.
Hey, real quick, while you doing that, I wanted to ask you, man, like maybe during the week when we go to do the StreamYard thing, I was trying to read the redaction, man. I was wondering if you could like go over how to read it, man, because I read the prefix, but then when I got after the prefix, it got kind of confusing how to read it. If you could do that during the week, man, like this week or something, I would appreciate it.
Wait, say it again, brother. I missed it.
Oh no, I was saying that I was trying to read the redaction. You remember the file you sent us, whatever. I read through the prefix, but after I got to the prefix, like because there's stuff in the middle and on the side, so I didn't really understand how to read it, like what was what. So like I was like wondering, like later on this week we do the StreamYard, could you guys go over how to read it?
Come.
Okay, cool.
Okay, Acts 13.
Oh, 13. Okay.
Acts chapter 13, and let's get verse 26.
Okay.
You said verse 26?
Come.
Yes.
All right, who got that?
I got it.
Go ahead.
All right. Acts chapter 13, verse 26. Men and brethren, children of the stock of Abraham, and
Stop
whoever...
right there. Stop right there.
Okay.
Men and brethren, children of the stock of Abraham. All right, go ahead.
And who's ever among your feathering God, To you is the word of this salvation sent.
So here, the question was, the salvation was sent to the Gentiles. Here, it said right here, men and brethren, children of the stock of Abraham. Let's narrow that down. Abraham's stock is Ishmael.
Yes, that would include him, right?
Ishmael, and he also includes who? Isaac, right? The scriptures say, for in Isaac shall that seed be called. Ishmael was what? Sent away. That eliminates him immediately, right? He was sent away. And his mother was sent away.
Yes, there we
Now,
go.
now we down to just one, Isaac. Right? Isaac had two sons,
Yes.
Jacob and Esau.
Right.
We know what happened there.
We know. Yeah, we know.
We know what happened there.
Yeah.
Right?
Sold his birthright.
He sold his birthright. There you go.
And lied about it.
Then lied about it. They wanted to murder his brother.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think he did no salvation sent to him. None. Oh, yeah, he didn't honor his mother and his father. Let's be clear, right? He didn't honor his mother, and he violated all kind of commandments.
Married, strange.
Right? And of course, and we know he don't fear God. Well, this verse is right here. And whosoever among you feareth God. He don't fear God. Esau don't fear God. None of his people neither. They don't fear God. Right?
Okay.
I don't think Ishmaelites neither. They're talking about Allah. We don't deal with Allah. We're dealing with Yahweh, right? That's what we're dealing with. It says, to you is the word of this salvation sent. So we know who this is sent.
That's it right there.
So we need, yeah.
You sure? It's gonna be a quick one, huh? Quick one.
Narrow down.
They're always trying to get. Let me get one more. Can we get St. John chapter 11?
I'm sorry, say it one more time.
11. Yeah, St. John chapter 11. I want right quick. We're gonna get back to some. If anybody got any other questions.
Okay, no problem. This dude getting right to the point today. He's like, you sure? All praises, man.
Yeah, I was trying to get them brothers that came on over there, all in the thing. You're trying to do the same thing, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, I know. What verse we going to?
11, and that's 49. Start at verse 49. St. John 11, verse starting at verse 49. Who got that?
I'll take it.
Go ahead.
St. John's 11 and 49. And one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest that same year, said unto them, Ye know nothing at all,
Go ahead.
nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man shall die for the sin for the people, and that the whole nation perish not.
So we clearly hear this. He died for one people. All right, go ahead.
Verse 51. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus should die for that nation.
Go ahead.
And not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of the Most High that were scattered abroad.
And that's the nail in the coffin right there. That's the nail in the coffin right there. Because Jesus Christ didn't go do that. Remember, he left. He went back.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, he didn't have a chance to do that part.
Yeah, he left. So, but we are going to touch on today his return.
Okay.
He did come back in the first century. We're going to read about it because he did, right? So that's what Paul is saying in Acts 28:28. He has to go and gather together the children of God that were scattered abroad. He has to go ahead and bring them. You have to go ahead and bring them the belief in the Messiah. Because again, who brought them that the Messiah came and died for their sins? That's the question you got to ask these people who are saying that Paul went to non-Israelites. So who told the dispersed abroad Israelite that Messiah came and died for them? Who went and told him?
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That becomes the question.
Right. Because they wouldn't even know who he is or anything like that because they have their own deities that they deal with anyway. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
They're dispersed abroad.
Come. They're not in the Commonwealth, so they don't know what the Commonwealth is. Will know.
So again, we all know because they're not part of the dispersed abroad Israelites.
Come.
He was the dispersed abroad Israelites. He was not born in Jerusalem. He was born in Tarsus.
Right.
But that's why he's saying he's going to go to the Gentiles. So that's what he is sent to go do. All right. Any other questions? No questions going once? No questions going twice?
I
sir.
do. So this gospel of Barnabas is that this I just is there really a gospel of Barnabas? Is that a real thing or? But how did that not make this? Why did that not make it into the scripture?
You got certain things in there that don't deem to be scriptural, don't line up.
Is that really from Barnabas or is that?
They don't know.
Yeah, okay.
They're gonna say yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Now, Apostle would know.
I'm gonna have arguments. Yeah. I mean, again, I would. Again, it's again. That's why I heard every man read it for yourself. You can download it free online. Just read. You know. Okay. You can hear my opinion on it, but then that's what we do for you. So,
is it easy to find the Barnabas?
Say again.
Easy to find?
Is he what?
What you talking about?
Yeah, just Google it. That's
Okay.
Barnabas PDF. You download it.
I mean, what I'm asking is, are there different versions of it, or just one version of it? That's what I'm asking.
Is there one or many versions of it?
Yes.
No, that's only one. As far as I know, there's only one version of it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. As far as I've seen.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions? All right, y'all doing a lot of reading. No questions. Got you. All right. Let's start off. You know what? I'm gonna get right to the video that I did. My interaction with godlogic. I'm gonna get right to it so you can see this. All right. Again, he said he was gonna that we was on his radar. Hebrews was on his radar.
You had a dialogue with his brother?
Say again?
You had a dialogue with his brother?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
He said we was on his radar.
Okay.
He was gonna steamroll us.
Right. I remember that.
Then he mentioned all of us. And I said, well, that's your mistake. That's your mistake, brother. So now I wanted to test the waters and see what's happening with the brothers to see where he was really at.
Okay.
Yeah, this didn't last long. He hurried and got me out of there because how you doing, brother?
Shalom.
Let me back it up. Let me share the screen. All right.
How long ago was this you did this?
The other day. This was the other day. This was like Thursday, I think. Yeah.
Oh wow, really recent. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, this is Thursday. Yeah.
Oh, that's the right there.
Snakes. All right, Sir Smith, you there, brother? Can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Shabbat shalom. I hear you, brother.
Hey, Shabbat shalom, brother.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, fam.
Yes, sir.
Right on time, brother. Right on. We're about to begin. Right on time. This is my interaction with God logic. Like I said before, the guy that says coming for Hebrew Israelites are going to steamroll us, right? This is short. It's not even long. All right, let's go. How you doing, brother? Shalom. Oh, this thing is low. How is so low? As high as I can.
It was just a snack. It wasn't a full course meal.
No, this was just. I mean, he didn't. He got me out of there. He got mad. He literally got mad over something that the Bible says that he doesn't know it said. You know what I'm saying? This is what crazy. Let me know if you guys can. If it gets too low for you guys, stop it. Let me know so I can stop it.
Shalom.
We all doing is Jesus God, correct?
Yeah.
In Psalms 110, does it say that Jesus Christ is a priest forever?
Yeah.
Do a priest serve a deity?
Yes.
Okay, so Jesus Christ is a priest forever, so he serves a deity, correct?
He serves the Father.
Okay. Is the priest co-equal with the deity?
Jesus is. This priest is.
Is there a
Our priest is co-equal with the Father.
Is there a verse that says what you said just now?
Yeah.
What verse is that?
Yeah.
What verse is that the priest the deity is co-equal with the deity that he serves?
Well, I'm going to show you that Jesus is co-equal with the Father.
Now I asked him, is there a verse that says that the priest is co-equal with the deity that he serves?
And he said yes.
He said yes. He said Christ is.
Yep.
So Christ in his priesthood, he's going to show a verse that he's co-equal with the Father. This is what he's going to do. Right? We heard it.
Oh, is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. So we go to Hebrews. Hebrews 1. We're going to go to Hebrews 1. We're going to read verses 1 to 3. Oops. Who's that? Who's that guy? Who's that guy? All right. Hebrews 1 to 3. Let me see. We close this out. Okay. All right, so it says, long ago and many times, in many ways, God spoke to our fathers by the prophets, but in these last days, he has spoken to us by his Son, whom he appointed the heir of all things, through whom also he created the world, right? He is the radiance of the glory of God and the exact imprint of his nature, and upholds the universe by the word of his power. So, and after making purification for sins, he sat down at the right hand of the majesty on high. Now, it says here that he is the exact imprint of the nature of God, right? So that means that everything that God is in his nature, Jesus is as well. It's co-equal.
That says imprint.
Yep.
So God made man in his own image, in his own imprint. Right? Yes or no?
Not in his own imprint, no. But at the same time, we're not the exact image of God. We're not the exact image of his nature or imprint of his nature. Jesus is the exact imprint of his nature. So whatever God is, whatever the Father is at his core.
Yo, I'm sorry. Hold on, cause I'm driving. What verse did he read? Talking about the imprint? I don't recall this.
But he's reading a different translation that says that the King James doesn't say that. King James says
It says express image, right?
Express image, right? But I'm showing you that this is what they do. They go to their translations.
Oh, okay.
That fit their teaching, their nonsense.
Oh, this is crazy, man.
He can't
I'm sorry.
King James. King James don't say this.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, brother. I didn't mean to cut you.
No, you're good. No, you're good. No, I was gonna stop anyway and bring it out. You know what I'm saying? But again, remember, he's supposed to come here and show Jesus Christ in his priesthood that he's co-equal with the Father. He just came here and showed that Jesus Christ has the exact imprint of his nature. And I said, well, it says imprint of him. And I said, that's image. He says, we don't have the image of the Father. This is what he said. Even though I said the text says God made man in his own image, he's saying we don't have that.
Wow. He's crazy.
Wait, so was Jesus Christ flesh?
He became flesh. But you're asking another question right now.
No,
Do you see here? You see here how it says that he is the exact imprint of the Father's nature?
I see what it said. You're not following what I'm saying. You're mentioning someone that was a human being. That's what you're saying. No.
I'm mentioning
Jesus Christ was a human being. I said you're mentioning someone who was a human being. Was he not a human being? He said no just now. No. Yes, he was.
And you know what's weird about what's weird about what he's reading, the Virgin, whatever Bible he's reading. In the Greek, that word express image is just a character. It was all the saying that Christ had the same character as the Father. Has nothing to do with like the same like person. You know what I mean? So I don't know how he's using this verse when that word there is just charis with his character. So I want what translation put imprint.
He's going into essence, right? Essence basically is whatever you're made of. That's what he's saying. Whatever God is made of, he's saying Christ is made of the same thing. This is what he's saying, right? And again, you can be made of the same thing and not be equal with somebody, right? We have people who we all flesh, but are we all equal? No, we're not all equal, even though we're all flesh.
someone before became a human being, because it says he is the Son, and he was the Son before the creation of the worlds. Right?
Yes. So are you saying that he was a human being? I'm confused.
I'm saying that he wasn't a human being before. When he created the worlds, he became human in the 1st century when he was born of a Virgin Mary. So he has two natures. He has the divine nature that he shares with the Father, that exact nature he shares with the Father, and he also has a human nature. So in Jesus, you're dealing with a person who has two natures, a divine nature and a human nature.
All right, here's the problem with that. Right? He just cut himself again. Because God don't have two natures. God only has one. He's saying Christ has two natures. There's your difference right there. How can they co-equal? Jesus has two natures. So in other words, Jesus Christ he's part divine and he's part carnal.
Man.
Is what he's saying. No part of God is carnal. Flesh.
Sucky, I have a question if I can.
Yes, sir.
His doctrine, or whatever it is we can call it, is confusing to me because it sounds like he's saying that Christ is God, but there's also the Father too as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, and that's like his doctrine.
That's his doctrine, and I was trying to I try to speak on that, and he about to get upset.
Oh wow! Okay. That's it. I was making sure I followed because I was like, that didn't sound right. But okay.
It don't sound right. Remember, listen, he's saying we're talking about one God now. That he's talking about
right.
Father, but it's one God.
Yes.
Son and Father and a human.
What I'm trying to say, that's why it's confusing. Yes, sir.
And Yahushua is created. The Father is not. Why is he not?
No, they don't believe it's created.
Oh, okay.
Because they said they stand as he created all things.
He created himself.
So then we have created himself if he was created. This is the argument that they're trying to make.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But again, if he created all things, someone created him. And then he created all things.
They're not backing it up far enough. They stopping right there at that point.
Yeah, they're making it all things, meaning all things, which would include him. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make no sense.
Yeah, that all don't mean all.
The created part separates the creator from the creation. He's included in the creation because he's doing the creating. Okay, once again, so before he came down in the body, was he a
Well,
priest?
you're asking another question.
See, I can't even finish my question. Every time I start to say something, it's cutting me off.
Do you see here how it says that Jesus is the exact imprint of the Father's nature?
Brother, you're going back before he came down. I'm speaking of when he
Exactly. So
Okay,
is
so
Jesus the Son? Is the Son the exact imprint of the Father's nature?
Okay, the question is, before he came down, was he a priest?
There is no other question. My only question on the table is, does it say that he's the exact imprint of the Father's nature?
Notice I'm asking him, before he came down, we initially started that he said he was a priest forever. He's going to go show the scripture that the priest, Christ, is co-equal with the Father. So I'm asking him now, since you're going back before he came, the question is, was he a priest before he came? To go back to the original question.
Right. He don't want to answer.
We're dealing with him being a priest. That's how we started off.
That part, I know that.
That's how we started off, by him being a priest forever.
Stuck. Now he's stuck.
But I'm trying to figure out, does he believe when it says the exact imprint, does that make him like the same person?
No, he according to him, yes, even though he serves the Father, they're still the same. That's how he said they're the same because they got the same nature. This is his argument.
So does this guy believe like okay? Because he's when you get to heaven, do he think you're gonna see one person or two?
One, I guess, one, because there's one God according to him.
Okay, this is weird because
it's also the Father though. It's also the Father he references too as well. That's what makes it confusing. But he says the Father too.
That's what's confusing me. Okay,
but the Father and the Son, these are just different manifestations of the one God according to their Trinity doctrine.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay.
And he's the one that teach that Yahushua humbled himself onto the Father, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, but I'm saying the verse that he's reading is cut himself, because if God used Christ to create all things, he's a separation right there.
Also,
it didn't say God manifested himself into his Son and created all things. That's what they're trying to say. Their doctrine teaches, right? The Father got to change himself from the Father into the Son, and then create all things. Right? The verse will say that.
And who is Christ talking to when he say, "Father, give me back my glory I had before I was with you"?
Yeah, God.
That's crazy.
Don't he say it's one greater than me? Like, don't
all of that. They admit that yes, he is greater, because at that time Christ was a flesh. Because he was flesh, that's how he's lesser than the Father. That's why the Father's greater than him, till at that point he was in flesh.
Oh, so he was made a little lower than that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's what that translation says. That's what that translation says. I told him, because I know originally it doesn't say that in the King James version. That's what that said.
That's what that so that means that the same nature that the Father has, Jesus has that exact nature, correct?
So you saying the Father is a priest?
No, you're asking a different question.
Remember, we originally started about him being a priest forever. So if you're arguing that they're the same divinity, are you saying the Father a priest? Because we argue what you're trying to argue here. Yeah, so I'm asking him. He's going over his head.
He's getting mad. Wow.
The same nature, according to this verse, the same nature, my brother, please don't panic, please.
I'm not panicking, brother.
The same nature that the Father has, Jesus has as well. Is that correct?
So you're saying he's a priest?
Please don't ask me another question without answering.
You're asking the question over and over again, but I said yes. That's what that.
Yeah. So when it says Jesus is the exact imprint of the Father's nature, that means that he has the exact same nature as the Father. Correct? So yes or no?
Okay. Yes. You understand? Yes.
Thank you.
In other words,
so that means that by their nature, they are co-equal, correct?
No, because one is a priest and one is a deity. Simple. Difference. One is a priest forever, and one is the deity. They can't be co-equal. One is a priest And one is a deity.
Slocky.
Go ahead, brother.
Hey, and where you should have ate him up right there was, didn't the Most High say the word was with him in the beginning?
Yo, I actually go ahead, I'm sorry. Ooh.
Because the word, didn't he say the word was with him?
Yes.
And in the Mashiach, the word, wouldn't that be the imprint?
Yes.
So what is that? That brother's off, man.
He's saying they're all the same God. He's saying that's all one God manifested himself in different, as they say, persons, right?
You
But
know what
imprint
cook
is
him?
a blueprint, though.
You know what would cook him? The scripture that would cook him alive is 2 Peter, brother, chapter 1, verse 4. This would destroy his argument right there. 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 4, because it also says that we can partake in his divine nature. So I would say, does that mean we're co-equal with him?
Let's read that right quick.
That would destroy him.
I get it. I can't talk. He keep cutting me off. Then he over talking me. You know what I'm saying? I can't even get nothing out. He over talking me. He ain't give me a chance to say nothing. That's what I'm saying. Right? Listen, he's about to get upset. He's about to get mad. You know what I'm saying?
That's the only way you can talk.
But even with what you're about to read, listen, he's arguing divinity. He's arguing divinity, right? But the angels are also divine. The angels are divine just like that too as well. They got the same nature of the Most High. The same he's speaking of, the angels are the same thing as well. They're also divine. So that means the angels equal with the Most High too? Co-equal with the Most High? The angels are too? I couldn't even get to say that because into my talk, he cussed me off. Do we got First Peter?
Go ahead. Is it First Peter or Second?
Second Peter chapter 1, verse 4.
Yeah,
Second Peter chapter 1, verse 4. Whereby are given unto us exceeding great and precious promises, that by these ye might be partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world through lust.
There it is. That's nailing his coffin right there. He's done. He's done.
So
right?
We're partakers.
Stick a fork in him because he's done, right?
Guys, crazy.
So we are the partakers in the divine nature.
Yes, we are get that divine body too.
Exactly. Same thing.
Good catch, good catch.
These guys are crazy, man. But you know what though? They actually, some of them cats actually believe that they can have what they say like they God though. They actually believe that.
You can see in his face he look upset. Like,
oh, he's about to get real mad. Was he about to get real mad? What I said what I'm about to say? And I couldn't understand why he was getting mad, bro.
One serve the other one. I'll break this down to you, for example. I got you. All right, so look. So you're talking about priest and deity. Priest is a role, a job that someone has, right?
Just look upset.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, forever though. Don't forget forever. Yeah. Don't forget forever though.
Yeah, so priest is a nature, right? It's a role. Priest is not nature. It's a role. It's a job that someone has, not a nature. It's a job. Okay? Normally, the priest is a human being, correct?
Yes.
So the nature of the priest usually is a human, and the role or the job that he has is priesthood. Okay. So let me give you an example. Let's go with in the workplace. Let's say the CEO. Let's say you are at work, and you got the CEO that's at your job too. He came visited you at the workplace. Make sure y'all doing y'all's job. Okay. So let's say you are a laborer. That's your role. You're a laborer. The other guy is the CEO. Okay. So your jobs are different, right? He's the CEO. You're the laborer. But what about your nature? Both of you guys are both human, right?
Yes.
So just because you have a different role than the CEO doesn't mean that you have a different nature than the CEO, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is what I'm talking about here. So I understand Jesus as a high priest, that's his role. But his nature is the same as the Father's. It's the exact same nature. So priesthood is not a nature, it's a job. It's a role that Jesus has. But his nature is divine. He's the divine. He has two of them. He has the divine nature that he has exactly the same as the Father, and he also has a human nature, which he was born through Mary here on earth.
I'm not arguing nature or is he divine. I agree Christ is divine. I'm not arguing that. What I'm arguing is that he has a role that's forever. He's forever serving a deity. I mean,
That's right.
He's gonna never. If and I know how it goes over here. If I'm forever serving someone, how am I co-equal with him?
That I mean, when you say like forever serving him, that shows an hierarchy right there.
Yeah, but how am I co-equal with someone that I'm serving forever?
You're not,
and you can't be.
That was a body bag right there, but you could tell
it was
people like him. They I don't want to say his conscience is seared, but he's not interested in hearing the truth. You tell it. You said when you said that he didn't even blink. He didn't even pay attention what you said. You said he's a high priest forever. He should have thought like, okay, forever. That means he's gonna be forever serving the Father. So how can he be equal?
He agreed. He agreed as well. Did y'all hear him say, "Yeah, I know"? He agreed as well.
If you know, then how can it be co-equal? If you know, the problem.
I might well be my father.
I think he was just trying to shut out my iron up.
Yeah. He was just trying to set you up. It's sad, man. It's sad.
He don't understand service.
Oh, he's about to get mad. We about to get mad in a minute. What?
He already mad though.
It can look like he's starting to get mad a little bit.
No. He's not mad yet. But I think he probably is. Like I'm asking you, I don't think he is.
He's gonna get steamed. He's gonna get to the point where you're gonna start to see expressions in his face. He's just trying to be argumentative right now.
All right, let me go. Ever stop serving this deity? Right? So that
he's never going to stop serving the Father. Right. That doesn't take away from his own nature.
So that means he cannot be co-equal with someone he serves forever.
Here it is again. Because let me show you the problem that you and I are having. Okay. When you say that you're not arguing nature or you are. That's why we're missing each other. Because you're talking about co-equal in regards to like status or role. I'm saying that they're co-equal in their nature. Okay? I recognize that Jesus serves the Father and will forever serve the Father. That doesn't take away from his equality with the Father in their nature.
You
understand? I said, brother, I'm not arguing divinity or nature.
But even what he just said is crazy.
I think with him, he has like a different definition of what he means for nature than Amiant and everybody else is, because his little definition of nature makes it seem like it's like what he's making sense. I think his definition of nature is like what the problem is. I think maybe I don't know.
No, he thinks because they have the same nature, they're co-equal.
Right.
That's what he thinks. But again, even what he said about the CEO and you just a worker,
right?
The CEO isn't equal with the worker.
Right.
Right. They're both flesh, but they're not equal. They're not co-equal.
Right. Exactly.
CEO can't get fired.
Yeah, kind of. There you go. You can't get fired. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a beautiful way.
Right.
That's it. That's it.
As Q said, I'm the boss. I can be late. You know what I'm saying? you can't be late. You're gonna get fired.
Hey, Salakia. Hey, and another scripture you should have brought out to the brother was remember when the people was tempting him to they was telling him if you the son of God, why don't you have the angels come down and do all this, that, and the other, and have your God take you up off the cross? And he was like, hey, what was that? He said, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God.
I think when he was fasting.
Yeah, when he took him up.
Kyle, when the devil took him up on the mountains and all that, and he was like, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God.
Brother, it don't matter. Listen, it doesn't matter what you show these people, man. They stuck in this nonsense, man.
You know what I think is dangerous too, bro? You know what I think is dangerous? I think what's going on with a lot of these dudes, because they get all these people following them and they on live, it's a pride thing. They don't want to seem like they let some of these guys down. Because you can't tell me that he didn't understand when you say he's a priest forever. I know that guy understand that, bro. He just don't want to admit he's wrong. Because he got it. If I'm serving you, how can I have the same power to the person that I'm serving?
Right.
Which would make him and that's exactly what makes him the imprint of the Heavenly Father.
Good point. Good point.
With you at your job, as long as you work there and have that position as the laborer, you're always going to be in service to the CEO. But that doesn't take away that you are like human, just like your CEO is human. You're not any less human than the CEO is. You're both human, same value, same quality, but your roles are different. And so you take a servant's role to your CEO. Similarly, Jesus takes the servant's role to the Father, but that doesn't mean that they're not co-equal in their nature. So Jesus is a servant in one sense, right?
That's kind of crazy.
Servant in one sense, he serves the Father as a priest. They're equal in another sense.
Okay, so right, so the Father don't never take a servant role, never. But the Son.
That's not what he did.
The Father never took a servant role.
That's not what he did.
He said that's not what he did. What is this dude talking about right here? He lost me with that one. The Father don't take a servant role.
So he's saying,
but the Son did. Not only did he took the servant role, he's forever in that role. Son have a servant role forever, but the Father never servant role. So I understand what you're saying about there being divine. What I'm saying to you, according to the Trinity, it's one God in three persons. So in other words, what you're saying is that this one God has another part of him that serves another part of him forever.
No, I'm not saying parts. I don't believe God is, you can split God up into parts. I'm saying that God exists in three persons. There's a distinction, but not parts.
Okay, so what persons, right? Three persons. Yep. Okay, so he's one God in three persons. One of his persons serve the other persons forever, but the other person don't serve the other person forever. This is what you're saying.
What's the problem? What's the problem with that? What's the problem with one person willingly serving the other person forever? What's the problem?
The problem is that you're saying.
Wait, let me rephrase my question. Okay. How did that take away the fact that both persons are co-equal in their nature?
Because you're saying that they are one God. One God is what you're saying. You're saying that one God, but then you also say but in three persons. So in other words, you're saying, so what you're saying is that a part of this one God serves another part of this one God.
Hey, I'm not saying any part of this one God serves the other part. I never said that. That's not please. And please, as we continue this conversation, I won't represent you. I'll try my best never to. Please don't do that to me. That gets annoying after I've repeated myself. So don't say that again, respectfully. Okay?
Now he's upset. Mm-hmm. He's upset.
And he's hoping you do it again so he can hang up.
He's upset because I'm using the word part. Now let's read it out the Bible.
He look like he's about to start counting.
He's getting upset because I'm using the word part.
Come on, start crying.
It has to be a part if it's one God. He have to have two hands, right? Come. Can we get Exodus chapter 33? Hey, this is crazy, bro. This is crazy, bro.
And Salakia, what the brother is saying is that God's a schizophrenia.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what's worse about this doctrine is that it's not even nowhere in the Bible, like that word, Trinity.
It's Exodus 33, and it says on verse 18. Exodus 33 and verse 18. We're just going to read it, want to keep the video up. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 33, starting at verse 18.
Yes.
And he said, I beseech thee, shew me thy glory.
So Moses is saying, show me your glory. He's telling God, show me your glory. Go ahead.
Verse 19. And he said, I will make all my goodness pass before thee, and I will proclaim the name of the Lord before thee, and will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and will shew mercy on whom I will shew mercy.
Go ahead.
And he said, thou canst not see my face, for there shall no man see me and live.
All right. No man shall see my face. No man shall see me and live. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 21. And the Lord said, behold, there is a place by me, and thou shalt stand upon a rock.
You bring Severus Smith back in.
Come on.
He said, there's a place by me, and you shall stand on a rock. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 22. And it shall come to pass, while my glory passeth by, that I will put thee in a cliff of the rock, and will cover thee with my hand while I pass by.
How big is his hand that he can cover Moses completely?
Wow.
I'm going to put you in a cliff of the rock. I'm going to cover you with my hand. Covering them all up. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 23. And I will take away mine hand.
I'm going to do what with my hand?
Take away
I'm going to remove my hand. Right? Go ahead.
And thou shalt see my back parts.
No, I couldn't have said he got back parts. This guy's arguing God don't have parts. This verse, and you shall see my back. And is that an S?
That's an S there.
Back parts.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what I am saying right here. He's getting upset because he said God don't have that, but the text says he does.
I mean, he's kind of saying that the Most High parts when he put with that Trinity, that sounds like parts right there.
Great. We're talking about God not God in his divinity, not in the fleshly form, in his divine form.
Right.
He said he has parts in the divine form.
With an S.
With an S too.
In the face. But my face shall not.
He says I'm gonna move my hand. That part right there.
And back parts in the face.
No, I'm going to try to explain to him why I'm using the word part. I'm not trying to upset the brother, but I'm trying to explain to him why I'm using the word part. How he would not have it.
Please. So I believe that one person of the Godhead serves the other person.
Yeah, brother, I don't mean to disrespect you. The reason why I'm using that word is because if we're talking about one God, I mean, he had like you're one body, but you have parts on your body, correct?
My makeup is not like God's makeup.
Oh, so you
I am a composite being. I'm a composite being. God is not.
God don't have a hand, 2 hands, and 2 foot. You don't have that?
No, not literally.
That's what I'm saying. It's the crazy stuff. God, we just read God's move my hand.
Come on.
From you just read it just now. He said God don't have that.
And we are made in his image, right?
And like good point.
You got to remember, like in his definition, this nature, that nature form, man. We don't know what that form looks like. It looks like it's not a human body form.
But like the brother just said, we made his image and likeness too. I mean, this is crazy talk.
Oh, so how did God make man in his image if God didn't look like that?
Because it's not a physical image, it's his characteristics. Man, he's given men authority, he's given men intellect, he's given men judgment, he's given men creativity, right?
Wait a minute now.
Okay.
All those things come from God.
He's
giving him creativity. He's giving him power. He's giving him intellect, is what he's saying. When he made him in his image, he's saying he's giving him all these things, right? Isn't these things dealing with God's nature? Judgment, power, intellect. Isn't that part of his nature, his essence?
Father of lights, come.
He said we don't have that, but just say what we do.
So in these ways, morality. In these ways, we are made in the image and likeness of God. We're supposed to be his representatives on the earth. Not that we look like God physically. That's impossible.
Not that we look like God physically. He said that's impossible. Now we're gonna pull the word up in the Hebrew image, and we're gonna see what it says for ourselves. Right? I'm gonna finish the video off because he about to get rid of me. So when Jesus Christ said, when it says he's the image of the Father and he looked like us, that ain't how God.
He never said that he looks like us.
No. I said when Jesus Christ says he's the image of God and he looked like us.
Mm-hmm.
You saying God looks different than that?
Yeah, I'm saying that God doesn't have a visible image. He's invisible. He's spiritual. He's not a physical being.
The text says that Jesus Christ is the image of the Father, right? Yes, sir.
Yeah, and what does that mean? It means that everything Jesus is, character-wise, how he is, the decisions he makes, the moves he makes, his will, all of that is exactly how the Father is. That's what that means. Not.
Yes, sir.
He's saying except for how the Most High look. He's saying everything else is the same, but except for
everything. Yeah, but everything isn't the same because he said they mentioned the will. Christ's will is not to go on the cross. That's a different will.
Right?
That the Father has a physical image.
But that can't be true because Jesus Christ's will is not to go on the cross. See? That can't be.
The Bible says that the Father is spirit, right?
See how he don't want to answer the question and said that can't be true because Jesus Christ's will was to not go on the cross. He said they have the same will. No, they didn't.
Not my will, be my Father's will.
Yes. Not my will, his own personal will, but my Father's will. But I mean, you said that they have the same will, which is incorrect.
Hold on, please. In John 4:24, Jesus says the Father is spirit, right?
Yes.
Do spirits have flesh and bone?
No.
So then they're not physical. They don't have a physical image.
No, they do have a physical image. That's why the text says God made man in his image.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks,
brother. Gotcha. Right, so there you have it. Let me stop sharing. All right. Let's go to the Bible. Let's go to the Bible.
Nobody was up there cursing.
We're gonna get Genesis chapter 1. We're gonna get verse 20.
Like it sound like the brother was confounded and didn't like it.
I seen that.
Hey, brother. Get on up out here, brother. Like, turning my people against me, brother. Gotta go, bro.
So Elohim, so God created man in his image. You can look up the word image right here. Right. That's Salim, image. Okay, we're gonna do the Brown Jobbers Briggs. We can get that one first. From the unused root meaning shade, phantom, that is figuratively illusion, resemblance, hence a representative figure, especially an idol, which again, a head, a body, 2 hands and 2 feet. Image, vain show, right? Strong's Hebrew, an image, form, image, images, likeness, phantom. This is what the thing says here. All the words he was using, I don't see none of these words using. He mentioned intellect, he mentioned power, right? These words are not here for the word image. None of these words are here. He's making all this stuff up. Clearly, this word is telling you this is how God looked. And that's how he made man, in his image. When you look in the mirror, that's your image in the mirror. That's how you look. I'll leave it there.
That's good.
I'll leave it alone. Again, I heard enough. I really wanted just to kind of engage and see where he was. That experience showed me that it ain't worth engaging with him. It's pointless. They're stuck on that doctrine, and nothing you show them is going to change their mind. You know what I'm saying? Before we go on, do you have any questions? Any questions before we go on? Okay, can we get Daniel chapter 2? Book of Daniel chapter 2. Get the correct verse, Daniel chapter 2. Let's get right to the point. Verse 44. Daniel chapter 2, we get to verse 44. All right, who got that? Go ahead.
Daniel chapter 2, verse 44.
Yes.
In the day, the kingdom of these. In the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom.
So in the days of these kings, right? Talking about from Nebuchadnezzar and the Persian-Median Empire and all of that other stuff. God's going to set up a kingdom. Go ahead.
Which shall never be destroyed.
Go ahead.
And the kingdom shall not be left to other people.
And it's not going to be passed down and given to somebody else. Meaning there's no one taking over. Nobody else going to come in and take over this kingdom, right? Or take it down. Go ahead.
But it shall break in pieces and consume all things, all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
Okay, right? Who know what this kingdom is? This is speaking of here.
Heaven?
Say again?
Heaven?
No. In the days of these kings, God is setting up a kingdom. It says these kings. That's starting from Nebuchadnezzar, coming all the way down. What kingdom is this? Who knows what this kingdom is? I can't hear you, Tony.
Is that where they got the black ball in now?
The black who?
The Kaaba.
The Kaaba.
Talking about the Kaaba stone the Muslims pray too.
That's not a kingdom. That's just a rock or something.
You talking about Arabia or something like that?
No. I said, what is this kingdom that God is setting up here in the days of what's the kingdom? The kingdom will never be destroyed. He's setting the kingdom up in the days of these kings, and this kingdom is never going to be destroyed. You know what the kingdom is? What this kingdom is?
Solomon Church.
Nah.
Solomon Church?
Messiah's kingdom.
Huh?
Messiah.
Messiah's kingdom, you saying Yaban?
Yeah.
All right, can we get Luke 17:21?
That's the only kingdom I know won't be destroyed by fear. Say Luke 17:1.
Yes, sir. Verse 21.
Verse 21. Let me get there. Okay. Verse 21.
Yeah.
Luke chapter 17 and verse 21. Now it shall say, lo, here are, lo, there, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you.
The kingdom of God is within you, but the Greek says it's among you. The kingdom of God, as he set up, is where?
In you.
It's among you.
Inside you.
It's among you.
Come.
The kingdom of God is among you.
Come.
Right? The Pharisees are telling them where the kingdom of God is going to come. He says, lo, you're not going to say, lo, here, lo, there. He said, behold, the kingdom of God is among you. All right? So again, in Daniel chapter 2, verse 44, what's the kingdom God is setting up?
You.
Don't be afraid. Say it.
Like you, he said, everlasting.
The kingdom is people.
The people.
The kingdom is people.
Israel.
There's people among the Pharisees.
Come.
These are the kingdom. This is the kingdom that he's setting up, right? Can you set if I have my kingdom going, can you set yours up?
La.
You can't set yours up.
Not in my kingdom, but you can. Yeah.
I can set, yeah, you can set it up in my kingdom, but you can't set up a physical kingdom in mine,
Okay.
right?
Come.
But you can't set up a kingdom of people.
The priest.
A kingdom of what?
Priest.
A kingdom of priests. The kingdom that's being set up there in Daniel is speaking of people. Is a kingdom of priests. They're king priests. He's not setting up a physical kingdom within these kings' reign. He's setting up a kingdom of priests within these kings' reign. Right? Christ is the first, the apostles, and so on and so forth, right? And the believers, the body of Christ is a kingdom, right? This is what he's setting up.
A kingdom of kings and priests.
A kingdom of priests, right? We're going to get it, right?
So in other words, he's building a kingdom.
I can't hear you. Say it again, brother.
So in other words, he's building a kingdom.
He's building a kingdom, right? But with people.
Right.
Yeah. You got to first start when you build a kingdom. Your kingdom gotta have no people in it. Is that a kingdom?
That's not a kingdom.
Not at all.
You start with the people, right? But you don't need you can't get any people. You got to get certain people, right or wrong. If it's gonna last forever, you need certain people, right? You can't just grab anybody. You're have confusion. Everybody in this kingdom got to be on the same page, right? Because if it's divided, it's gonna what? It's gonna fall, right? Can we get 1 Peter chapter 2? 1 Peter chapter 2, we're gonna get verse 5. Then we're gonna jump down to verse 9 and 10. And then I want to get into the lesson on the fulfillment of Matthew 24. Is Matthew 24 fulfilled in the first century? Right? Who got that?
I'll take this one. 1 Peter chapter 2, starting at verse 5. Ye also, as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house.
So we see that it's spiritual, right? The spiritual house we're building up. Go ahead.
And holy priesthood.
Yeah, and holy priesthood, a spiritual holy priesthood. Go ahead.
To offer up spiritual sacrifices.
See, it's spiritual. You do spiritual sacrifices. Go ahead.
Acceptable to the Most High by Hamashiach Yahushua.
Right. So this priesthood is on another level. It isn't carnal, spiritual. This is the kingdom he's building up, a kingdom of priests. All right. Jump down to verse 9 and 10.
Verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood.
Is a chosen generation. Remember, he's speaking to the diaspora, right? A royal priesthood. Go ahead.
And holy nation, a particular people.
Peculiar.
A peculiar people that ye should shew forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light.
Right. So there we have it. This is the kingdom that the Most High is setting up in the days of these kings. This kingdom was starting to be built up, going all the way back in Nebuchadnezzar's time, setting this kingdom up, right? You can understand when Christ died and it said that the saints that was dead arose after he arose. These are other people from that time frame that's coming in, right? Being arose from the spirit, right? Go ahead.
Verse 10, which in times past were not a people, but are now the people of the Most High.
Now we understand the people of the Most High is the people who come into this priesthood. These are the people. Go ahead.
Which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy.
Right. See, the people who believe in Christ, these are the ones that have obtained mercy, which before didn't obtain mercy, right? And that's why I want to get into the next lesson with the fulfillment of Matthew 24, because we're going to see the people that don't believe ain't get no mercy. They gonna catch it. All right. Let me get one more. We get one more, the last book of the Bible. In Revelation chapter 5, verse 9 and 10. All right, we got that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Revelations chapter 5 and verse 9. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seal thereof. For thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to God by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation.
Right. Every kindred is every tribe, right? And tongue and people and nation. Go ahead.
Verse 10, and hast made us unto our God king and priest, and we shall reign on the earth.
You're right. Okay. Yeah, made us unto our God a king and priest is basically it's a kingdom of priests. That's what that is saying there. And we gonna reign on the earth, right? So there's a time when this spiritual priest, king priest, is going to reign on the earth, and it's not never going to stop. All right. Is there any question on that before we get into Matthew? Any question on that? I got to pull up this PDF so I can. We'll be doing some reading here. Again, when I'm reading this, let me stop this here. At any time, anybody can stop me if you don't understand something. I want to just go over the points as all of the major valid points. I just want to go over. We can try to see if we can run through this as quick as possible. Again, if anybody got a question, if you don't understand something, by all means, stop me and we can go over it. All right, let me pull up a PDF here. I'm going to read it and we're going to get right into it. Okay. See, can I make this bigger?
Like, do you see what it says? Zoom in, zoom out, like it's like start, hand, select. In the menu at the top right there, it's the zoom, the one that has a plus sign, it should be able to zoom in. The fourth one from the left. Do you see it says, I can't see, you made it smaller, but I can't.
I thought I blew it up just now.
I mean, well, actually, oh yeah. So you see, yeah, right there, yeah. You click on that, it'll make it bigger, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how big you want it though, but
let's see what size it is now.
Maybe 150 or let's try 150. See if that is okay. Oh, we might be doing 125. Probably is better, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's better.
Okay. That's better, yeah.
And I'll blow it up here. Can you guys still see that?
I can see it, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. Oh, you can do it on the bottom right too. It shows you can do it on the bottom right. You can do it that way too. You can zoom it up on the bottom right too on the page.
Say it again.
You see on the bottom right, bottom of the page to the right, you can do the zoom there too on the bottom if you can see it.
Got you. Okay, yeah. I see.
Okay.
Let me see.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Good.
Yeah. Good. All right.
Since we have taken for granted that most all of the New Testament prophecies deal with the future in our times, this age, and have not given enough recognition to the fact that when prophecies or predictions made during the ministry of Christ and the lives of the apostles of the present age or the age or the end of the age, they are referring to their age, the Jewish age, which came to an end in AD 70 and not to our Christian age of today. Many prophecies which we have assigned to a future second coming of Christ, for example, were actually fulfilled at the end of their age in the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple. The fact that many Bible expositors do not recognize this difference account for the many varied and confused interpretations concerning this prophecy of Matthew 24. I hope that in this book, the difference can be plainly shown so that the Olivet discourse of Jesus can more readily be understood in the way that Jesus meant it to be. The prophetic future of Israel was summoned up in Daniel 8:26, wherefore shut out of division, for it shall be for many days, the fulfillment of which was brought about at the end of their age. Paul spoke of those in his day as those upon whom the ends of the world, the age are come. It's 1 Corinthians 10:11. This is not our end time, but theirs, right? Some are not aware that there were 3 temples. I really wasn't aware that there were 3 temples. Yeah, I thought there was 2. And that this one in the time of Christ was the 3rd. Solomon's temple was the first one erected by Solomon in the 10th century BC. It was destroyed in 587 or 586 BC by Nebuchadnezzar II, the king of Babylon. The second temple was the one which was rebuilt by the Jewish leader Zerubbabel by 516 BC. At the end of 70 years of Babylonian captivity, it was the second temple that was desecrated by Antiochus Epiphanes, the king of Syria, in 168 BC. More will be said about this when we study Matthew 24:15. All right. The third temple is the one under discussion, and it was called Herod's temple. It was begun in 19 BC by Herod the Great, king of Judea. It was completed about 80-64. I think this is a typo. I think this is 24 or something like that, or 26. This is not this. That isn't. Well, I'm gonna show you why I'm saying that. Herod had kept 10,000 workmen employed in the building this temple for 8 successive years. This third temple surpassed the first 2 in architectural splendor. Herod wanted a temple of a far greater beauty than the one that had existed, and so he did this using the best ornamentation possible in that day. The temple was a source of wonder. The huge blocks were alternately red and white marble. 9 of the gates were overlaid with silver and gold, and one was a solid Corinthian brass. It was a sight to behold for all those in Jesus's day. He's saying this looked better than Solomon and any other one. He's the splendor. All right, can we get St. John chapter 2, verse 19 and 20?
Wow.
St. John chapter 2, verse 19 and 20.
Wow, we know how Solomon showed out for his temple, and you saying this one Herod's is better than
Herod.
Wow.
But he didn't finish to see the temple because he died in well, they say 4 BC. Right, so it started around 1920.
BC, like completed around, like you said, AD, 24 AD, somewhere around there.
I can hear you say it again, brother.
I was saying like it was completed around 20 AD, 24 AD, somewhere around there.
26.
26, okay. Oh yeah, I got 20 John 2:19.
Go ahead.
Okay, reading from the book of John, chapter 2 and verse 19, it reads, Jesus answered and said unto them, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will rise it up.
Go ahead.
Verse 20. Then said the Jews, 46 years was this temple in building, and wilt thou rear it up in 3 days?
So 46 years in building of this temple, the Jews said 46 years. So if we go from you take 19 BC, if you go 46 years, that'll bring you to about 25, 26 AD.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. But he has only a 64, so I'd say it must be a typo that he has on there.
Right, got you.
Right. Go ahead.
verse 21. But he spoke of the temple of his body.
So Christ is speaking temple of his body, but we do have here in the text that particular temple took 46 years to be built, right? So that's it's a third temple, right? So we have Zerubbabel temple, second one, then we have Solomon temple. So Herod's temple is actually a third temple, right? But people are still saying today they're trying to build a third temple or Herod temple.
Wow.
Actually,
What's the third temple? Okay.
Third temple. You meaning a fourth temple.
Uh-oh.
This is what they're trying. This is what they're actually trying to say. Right.
So Solomon, Zerubbabel, and Herod were the three temples.
Right. So here in St. John verse 20, 40 and 6, this one says it begun in BC 20. See Josephus Wars 1, 21 and 1, right? So we have go ahead and grab just the first part of it. This is Josephus, right? Chapter 21 and 1, as it says right here. Of the temple and the cities that were built by Herod and erected from the very foundations. Right. So we see here from the very according to Josephus, this was from the ground up. Right. As also of those other edifices that were erected by him, and what magnificence he showed to foreigners, and how fortune was in all things favorable to him. All right. Accordingly, on the 15th year of his reign, Herod rebuilt the temple and composed a piece of land about it with a wall, which was twice as large as that before enclosed. The expenses he laid out upon it. Yes, sir.
You said incomposed or encompassed?
Let me get back. What did I say?
You say incomposed.
Oh, my bad. Excuse me. Encompassed. Right, and encompassed a piece of land about it with a wall, which land was twice as large as that before enclosed. The expenses he laid out upon it were vastly large also, and the riches about it were unspeakable. The sign of which you have in great closures that were erected about the temple and the citadel, which was on its north side, and the closures he built from the foundation. But the citadel he repaired at a vast expense, nor was it other than a royal palace, which he called Antonia, in honor of Antony. He also built himself a palace in the upper city containing two very large and most beautiful apartments, to which the holy house itself could not be compared in largeness. The one apartment he named Caesarium, and the other he named Agrippium, from his two great friends. All right, so we have it here. This is him building the temple. So we have it here. So we have here from 1920 BC to 26 AD is going to give us about 46 years. All right. Now we're going to go down. Dealing with Matthew. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. And Yahushua said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Right? Jesus predicted that all the greatness of this magnificent temple would be utterly destroyed, not one stone left upon another. This came to pass in the year 70 AD, exactly as Jesus said it would, after the Roman armies had taken Jerusalem. Titus, the Roman general, gave orders that the soldiers should dig up even the foundation of the temple and also the city itself. Titus had not really wanted to destroy the city and the temple, but to preserve them. But circumstances at last used him to give the order, and Tyrannus Rufus, who was left in command of the army at Jerusalem, plowed up the hill of the sanctuary and tore up the foundation of the temple. This destruction of the temple and the city to its extent also fulfilled the prophecy of Micah chapter 3 verse 12, right, which says, therefore shall Zion Therefore shall Zion for your sake be plowed as a field, and Jerusalem shall become heaps. We see clearly that's a definite fulfillment, right? Luke put it in these words: For the day shall come upon thee that thine enemy shall cast a trench about thee and compass thee round and keep thee in on every side, and shall lay thee even to the ground. Definite fulfillment. And thy children within thee, and they shall leave thee, and they shall not leave in thee stone upon another, because thou knowest not the time of thy visitation. Right. Luke chapter 19, verse 43 and 44. It is interesting to note that the above passage, the reason which Jesus gave for this utter destruction that came upon the city of Jerusalem, because thou knowest not the time of thy visitation. If the people had not rejected him as the Messiah, these would have been different. It was as the people laid at the time when he was crucified, then answered all the people and said, his blood be on us and our children. Josephus recorded the fulfillment of this prophecy thusly. Caesar gave orders that they should now demolish the entire city and temple, but should leave as many of the towers standing as were of the greatest eminency. And so much of the wall was enclosed the city on the west side. This wall was spared in order to afford a camp for such as were to lie in garrison, as were the towers also spared in order to demonstrate the posterity of what kind of city it was and how well fortified. You read it, they tell you that Jerusalem was so fortified that the Romans couldn't get in. That is, if the people on the inside that actually was fighting and actually let them in, which the Romans' valor had subdued. But for all the rest of the wall, it was so thoroughly laid, even with the ground, by those that dug it up to the foundation, that was left nothing to make those that came thither believe it had ever had been inhabited. So they laid it down like nothing was there.
Wow. So this is Titus.
This is Titus here. This is Josephus recording it. So when they over there talking about this retaining wall there, that wailing wall, that couldn't have been a part of it. That got to be something else. It was laid all the way down, like you said. You couldn't tell something was even built there. That's how far they dig it up. Yes, sir.
So all this, like these tours where they go to the Jerusalem, what's that right there? That Jerusalem they go to visit every year, spend all their money. What's that part of? What's that? That's still part of the Jerusalem, or that was rebuilt back in some other?
That's called a retaining wall.
Retaining wall.
Yeah, that's a different. That's not the temple. You see, they laid it down according to Josephus here. They laid it all the way down to the foundation. You couldn't tell that anything was built there. That's even something that probably came afterwards.
Yeah, because they said they believe they have supposed to have a burial of Christ in the city. That's where some of the some documentaries I was looking at, they said they had the burial right where he was crucified at, where he was laid at. That's in the city of which is called Jerusalem.
No, the text says he was laid out. He died outside the gate, outside the city, and then next to where he was crucified, there was a garden. All that's outside the city of Jerusalem. I don't know what that is saying. It says, so complete was the destruction of Jerusalem that it was 200 years or so before people began to do anything much in that area where the city had been. So that's this is the source right here. All right, F.F. Bruce, theologian, author of Manchester, England, described the last days of the conquest of Jerusalem thus: according in April 87, Titus invaded Jerusalem. Okay, I want to get on to the next thing. So we got that. They destroyed that. All right. I'm gonna go slow. Anybody can go right to the video and just kind of like pause it here and go down. I want to try to get down to the next verse. We got that here. All right. And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. It's Matthew 24, 4-5. First thing which Jesus mentioned would occur before the end of the age was the appearance of false Christ. Those who claimed themselves to be the Messiah, Jesus said that many would appear in the scene during his time, and they did appear, many of them. To Acts 8, 9 through 10 tells us of these, right? But there was a certain man called Simon, which before time in the same city used sorcery and bewitched the people of Samaria, giving out that himself was some great one, to whom they all gave heed from the least to the greatest, saying, "This man is the great power of God." So we have it recorded in the book of Acts, chapter 8, verse 9, that he was one, right? The number of the early church fathers wrote about Simon's Magus. For example, Eusebius quoted Justin Martyr by saying, after the Lord was taken up into heaven, the demons put forth a number of men who claimed to be gods. These not only escaped being persecuted by you, but were actually the objects of worship. For example, Simon the Samaritan from a village called Githo, who in Claudius Caesar's time, thanks to the art of the demons who possessed him, worked wonders and magic. And in your imperial city of Rome was regarded as a god. And like a god was honored by you with a statue in the river Tiber between the two bridges. It bears the inscription in Latin, Simoni Dio Sancto. So Simoni Dio Sancto. Also, almost all Samaritans and a few foreign other nations too acknowledge him as their principal god and worship him. This is Eusebius 86. This statue, which translates, says to Simon the Holy God, was also affirmed by Tertullian. So we have another one. So we have it. Then that is crazy. Then there was those Theos, the Samaritan, who claimed to be the Messiah predicted by Moses. A few years later, during the reign of Nero, these false prophets became so numerous that many of them were apprehended and killed every day. Wow. Jesus warned his disciples that these men would be showing up and they were not to be deceived by them. Josephus, same thing going on today. Josephus told of one by the name of Thaddeus, 12 years after the death of Christ, who claimed to be a great prophet and deceived a great multitude into believing he could divide the river Jordan for their passage. This is recorded for us in Acts chapter 5, 36, as Gamaliel told us of Thaddeus. All right, so we have this here. We got that. So we have proof in the text. Okay, I want to just try to scroll to it. All right, so we got what the act. Anyway, anyone can go back and read this. I'm just gonna scroll to it. But I want to get to what Eusebius told about this Thaddeus in these words: when Thaddeus was procurator of Judea, an impostor called Thaddeus persuaded a vast crowd to take their belongings and follow him to the river Jordan, for he claimed to be a prophet and promised to divide the river by some command and provided them with an easy crossing. A great many people were deceived by this talk. Thaddeus, however, did not allow them to enjoy their folly, but sent a troop of cavalry against them. These attacked them without warning, killed many, and took many alive, capturing Thaddeus himself, whose head they cut off and conveyed to Jerusalem. Eusebius 84 and 85. Oh, Joe. Eusebius also told about an Egyptian, mentioned in Acts 21:38, who must have gathered quite a following. We have it here, Acts 21:37, 38. And as Paul was to be led into the castle, he said unto the chief captain, "May I speak unto thee?" Who said, "Canst thou speak Greek? Art thou not that Egyptian, which before these days made us an uproar and led us into the wilderness, 400 men that were murderers?" So Eusebius speaks of this, right? We have the account here. A great blow than this was inflicted on the Jews by the Egyptian false prophet arriving in the country. This man, a fraud who posed as a seer, collected about 30,000 dupes, led them around by the wild country to the Mount of Olives, and from there was ready to force an entry into Jerusalem, overwhelmed the Roman garrison, and seized supreme power with his fellow raiders as bodyguards. But Felix anticipated his attempt by meeting him with a Roman heavy infantry. The whole population rallied to the defense, so that when the clash occurred, the Egyptians fled with a handful of men, and most of his followers were killed and captured. In Subius 96, 97, just as we read it in the book of Acts, right? Gamaliel talks about this. Yep, Gamaliel. All right. Let me go on to the next one here in Matthew. Christ says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famine and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places." Right? So we have there were wars and tribulation of Rome and all over Palestine, Galilee, Samaria in AD 66, preceding the destruction of Jerusalem. They heard of wars. In AD 40, there was a disturbance in Mesopotamia, which Josephus says caused the death of more than what? 50,000 people. In AD 49, a turmoil in Jerusalem at that time of the Passover resulted in 10,000, 20,000 deaths. As Caesarea, contentions between Jewish people and other inhabitants resulted in over 20,000 Jews being killed. As Jews moved elsewhere, over 20,000 were destroyed by Syrians. And Skytophilus, over 13,000 Jews were killed. Thousands were killed in other places. And at Alexandria, 50,000 were killed. At Damascus, 10,000 were killed in an hour's time. So I'm saying when Christ, we talked about the believers in Christ, we just read in Peter, they found mercy. But the others didn't. We see how many Jews are dying all over the place. 20,000 here, 10,000 here. The Most High was killing them with vengeance all over the place in this time. That people don't read about. There were not wars of a worldwide scope as we know the world today. They were in Galilee and in Syria and in areas east and south of Judea. And Judea was the revolt against Rome, while the armies of Spain and Gaul and Germany, Illyricum and Syria converged upon Italy to decide who should succeed in Nero's purpose. It said, "There shall be famine," Matthew 24 and 7. Acts 11:28 says, "And there stood up in one of them named Agabus, and signified by the Spirit that there should be great dearth throughout all the world, which came to pass in the days of Claudius Caesar. Many died in this famine." We see Christ predicted the famine, and we see the fulfillment in the book of Acts 11:28, right? This famine was mentioned by Josephus and Eusebius. Eusebius said that right after the impostor Thaddeus was killed, that the great famine took place in Judea, and the queen and Queen Helen at great expense bought corn from Egypt and distributed it among those in want. Right? It said there was also a famine in Rome and parts of Italy, which began the first year of the reign of Claudius and lasted until the next. Another famine in the same region was mentioned by Tacitus and Eusebius, and in the 10th and 11th year of Claudius. We have that recorded in the book of Acts as well. The next one says, "And earthquakes in diverse places." Earthquakes did occur in Crete, in Smyrna, in Miltius, in Chios, Asmos, and at Rome. So we have all of that. I want to get into it. So we have everything that Christ was saying in Matthew 24. So far, we've seen is being fulfilled at that time. Yes, sir.
And what's this doing? Talking about the 2/3 too?
The 2/3.
Yeah, the 2/3. Because they saying the brothers now saying 2/3 are gonna die when Christ return to our people. But what about back then? How many was being killed off? Was it 2/3 of Our people.
I would say that kind of sounded about correct, where the third would have been those who believe and escape. You know what I'm saying? And 2/3 who were left in Jerusalem and they died. Yeah, I'm brother. It was no joke.
Because these brothers are teaching, still teaching that 2/3 crap is gonna die now.
It happened that went down in that time, right before 70 AD. That's when all that stuff went down. That's not in our time.
Right.
All these are the beginning of sorrows, or in other words, the beginning of the birth pains. The birth pains. All these things that Jesus mentioned were not to upset the disciples and cause them to think the end had come. They were only the beginning. The same as the birth pains come before an actual hard labor of a woman waiting to be delivered of her child. Right? We continue to go there. It says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. 24 now, right? The disciples of Jesus would suffer and be killed wherever they were. The book of Acts tells us of the case after case where they were brought before councils and before rulers and kings. We got Acts 4, 6, 16, 18, 24, and 25. All right. I'm going to quickly read Acts 5, 28. It says, did not we straightly command you that you should not teach in his name, in this name? And behold, you have filled Jerusalem with your doctrine and intended to bring this man's blood upon us. Verse 40. And to him they agreed, and when they had called the apostles and beat them, they commanded that they should not speak in the name of Hamashiach Yahushua and let them go. So Christ said that they're going to afflict you. There is the affliction there. And then they're going to kill you in here. They killed Stephen, Acts 7:59, and they stoned Stephen, calling upon the Most High and saying, Lord Jesus, receive my spirit. He kneeled down and cried a loud voice, and they sinned. And he kneeled down and cried a loud voice, Lord, lay not this sin to their charge. And when he had said this, he fell asleep. And it's just crazy how when the Christ apostles are dying, they're always appealing to God to don't put this sin upon them, right? Don't lay this on them. We have Acts chapter 12, verse 1 and 2. Now about that time, Herod the king stretched forth his hand to vex certain of the church, and he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. Right, which is great. Now back to Matthew. It says, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Okay. When persecution comes, it's easier for Christians to give in to temptation. Timothy 1:15, 1 Timothy 1, 2 Timothy 1:15, 2 Timothy 4:10 are examples of this. Jesus said that they would even betray one another. That is, they would yield to pressure of authority and reveal information about one another. All this would cause many to hate one another. In those days, many Christians were convicted and executed because of others who were caught and confessed. Back to Matthew. And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. Matthew 24:11. Paul spoke of these in 2 Corinthians 11:13, 2 Timothy 2:17, and so on and so forth. I mentioned a certain sorcerer, a false prophet, a Jew whose name was Bar Jesus, who withstood them, seeking to turn away the deputy from the faith. And Paul said, but evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Back to Matthew. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Paul the apostle mentioned that perilous times were coming upon them in the last days. And he also pointed out that all that will live godly in Christ shall suffer persecution, right? You know, all of this took place. But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. It is most interesting to know that none of the Christians perished during the final siege of Jerusalem, during the siege and destruction of Jerusalem. When Titus, the Roman general, finally came into the city, he did not find a single Christian there. Of course, they had all fled the city upon the destruction of Jesus, upon the instruction of Jesus, when they first saw the army surrounding the city, right? But if this passage is to be applied spiritually, it would mean that those who were finally saved were those who had preserved and who were not false professors. Mm. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all kingdoms, and then shall the end come. Matt.24:14. Once again, as we read this, the end, we need to understand it is the same end of the world or the age that the disciples asked Jesus about in verse 3. That is, the end of the age in which they live, the end of the Jewish age. This is not a passage of scripture to be applied to a time just before some future second coming of Christ, as though what we are now waiting on is for the last soul on the face of the earth to have the gospel preached to him, or to have the Bible translated into the last language or dialect, not yet so done, so that Jesus can return. Jesus was not talking about what would be done in that age before the end come. Paul very plainly said that what Jesus predicted had actually came to pass in his own day. Writing in AD 64, he mentions the gospel which ye have heard, and which was preached to every creature which is under heaven. There's it right there. Said he had just mentioned the gospel which is come unto you as it is in all the world. Colossians 1:5-6. This had been done already. In this own lifetime, he said. Paul says here again, Paul said to the Romans that your faith is spoken of throughout the whole world. Paul said again in Romans 10:18, have they not heard? Yes, verily their sound went into all the earth, and their words into the ends of the world. Now we know these passages here clearly cannot literally be saying that the apostles preached the gospel to every single person, every single creature. This is clearly, can we get, I need to get Isaiah. Let me get Isaiah first, 58:1. We clearly know this is speaking of them preaching to the Israelites who were scattered in all different nations and worlds. This is clearly what he's speaking of here at this time, because that's who the gospel was supposed to go out to. Hold up, make sure I get it correct. Right, so in Romans chapter 10, verse 18, but I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily, their sound went into all the earth, and their words into the ends of the world. Who is he speaking of? He's quoting something. Who is he speaking of? He's in his mission, and he's going. Right? Isaiah chapter 58, verse 1. Who got that?
I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 58 from the top. Cry aloud.
Cry aloud. Go ahead.
Spare not.
Spare not. What else?
Lift up thy voice like the trumpet.
Lift up your voice as a trumpet. Go ahead.
And shew my people their transgression.
This is what he is saying. He said that the old prophets, they was preaching, and they preached God's message, repentance, to all the Israelites who were scattered where? The ends of the world. The ends of the world. He said their sound went into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world, or the ends of the earth. Speaking of the prophets in the Old Testament prophets, they were speaking to Israelites. They were speaking to everybody in the world. I mean, book chapter verse on that in the Old Testament. That wouldn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's referencing when he's speaking of that about how again, we can see that the prophets, when they come, they wasn't talking all alone. He says, cry aloud,
Lift up
spare not, right? Lift up your voice, right? They come in confidence because they have authority from the Most High behind them that's backing them. The same way Christ was talking when he came with authority.
like a trumpet.
Like a trumpet. Can we get Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 17? Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 17.
You said chapter 6, verse 17.
Yes, Jeremiah chapter 6, we're going to get verse 17.
Okay. Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 17. Also I set watchmen over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not hearken.
Who's the trumpet that you talking thinking hearken to? Hearken to the trumpet. What is he saying? What's the trumpet that he says be hearken to?
Be the speaker?
The who?
No. The speaker to whoever's speaking, right?
Nah.
Prophets.
No,
The
okay.
prophets. We just read. You said what? Cry aloud, spare not, right? Show my people their transgression, right? He said, hearken to the trumpet. The prophets. They're speaking of the prophets. Hearken to the prophets who were crying aloud like a trumpet. They say, but they don't want to listen to them. Right? Again, the prophets were not coming talking all low. This is the why they killed him. They came in there talking loud, right? Like as Hugh said, why are you talking loud?
What you talking about?
The prophets were talking loud.
Confidence.
With confidence, right? Showing, it says that show my people their transgression. You imagine this man coming up talking loud and saying how off you are, how you being wicked, you're not listening to the God, when to come back to the Torah, and you don't, and you know people get paid on like his tone, you know what I'm saying? On like how he talking like
That's the way he said it.
You ain't gotta get all loud like that, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Malcolm X.
He said that to the king, to the princes. They're like, brother, you know we can kill you, right? You talking to the king like that? His sons like that? The magistrates, the army, and all of the people like that? The nobleman? He's like, yes. How can all you like that? You're breaking the commandment. You're breaking the covenant. And he lied like a trumpet. What are they gonna do with him? They gonna kill him. They gonna kill him.
Get him.
That's now you can clearly see why they murdered the prophets. They didn't like how they didn't like what they were saying, and they didn't like how they were saying it.
It's just like some gang members you said try to tell them how to get their life on track and they get upset.
Yes.
Like, oh man, this is wasting right now. I'm tired of listening to them. We getting money.
The women too, like the strip club, or I mean, prostitutes are just they don't want to hear the message.
Yeah.
They ain't trying to get their life back on track.
No.
Some.
You know what I'm saying? When you're speaking for the Most High in Christ, you have to have that confidence. You know what I'm saying? In what you're saying. Because listen, if you don't, they're gonna try to come at you and think it's weak. Or he ain't that confident. He's talking a little too low. He don't sound sure of himself. You know what I'm saying? You come with that confidence and talking sure of yourself, then all of a sudden they get petty, right? He talking so loud, man. No, that's that confidence.
He's out of here. He'll be back in 15.
Yeah, definitely. I need to get can we get Isaiah? I need to get Isaiah 40. What is it? Isaiah 45. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure. Wait. Isaiah 43. Sorry, Isaiah chapter 43. Isaiah chapter 43 is what I want. Matter of fact, let's just context. Let's get verse 1. I'm going to read verse 1 down to verse 7. Isaiah chapter 43, and I want to read verse 1 down to verse 7. Okay. Isaiah 43, verse 1 down to verse 7. Who got that?
I got it.
Go ahead, brother.
All right, reading from the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, starting verse 1. It reads, "But now, thus saith the Lord that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel. Fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine."
Go ahead.
Verse 2. "When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be buried, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee."
Thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. Go ahead.
Okay, verse 3. "For I am the Lord thy God, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior. I give Egypt for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Seba for thee."
Right. So we see when we came out of Egypt, the ransom was Egypt. Right? He said, I gave Egypt for thee, for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Seba for thee. That's what he did when we came out, right? Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Since thou hast precious in my sight.
Oh, I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. I need to get a precept. Can we get a precept? Can we get Proverbs 21:18? How are you out, Nathaniel? So can we get Proverbs chapter 21, verse 18? Proverbs 21, verse 18.
Proverbs chapter 21, verse 18.
Go ahead.
"The wicked shall be a ransom for the righteous."
See that? The wicked shall be a ransom for the righteous. That's it.
"And the transgressor for the upright."
And the transgressor for the upright. Right? So they're going to pay. They're going to be the ransom. All right. Let's come back to Isaiah 43, and let's pick it up at verse 4.
Okay. Whenever, let me know when you're ready.
Go ahead.
Okay, reading from the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 4, and it reads, Since thou wast precious in my sight, thou hast been honorable, and I have loved thee. Therefore I will give men for thee, and people for thy life."
Right. For I would give men for thee. And the word there is Adam. It's man, a single man. I will give a single man for thee. Who's that man?
Christ.
Christ. He gave a man for us. He died in our place. That's what the verse is telling us right here. He gave a man for us.
So
for that life. Yes, sir.
Ethiopia, Egypt, and Seba, all that's like close to the same land.
Yeah, that's in Africa. Yeah. Right. Let me see. Hold on. Egypt, Ethiopia. Yeah, all is in Africa. Yeah.
But like kind of next door to each other.
Well, Egypt's at the top, and you come on down. Ethiopia is more down, like going into the middle
east.
And see east.
I think it's Ethiopia more east.
Yeah, but it's in Africa. Yeah. Right.
But that's where the Queen Sheba is supposed to come from, right?
Seba?
Yeah.
Well, Sheba. Well, it depends because they have SHEBA. Sometimes it's just SEBA. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna flip it up. It could be the same thing with these guys. How they translate Hebrew words. Right.
So Sheba is in Ethiopia because Africa is a country.
I think
Ethiopia is a country, so it gotta be. She don't have to be an actual Ethiopian, but Sheba or whatever.
Yeah, I think she African. She come from Africa.
Yeah.
Look, in Africa, they're different tribes. They have different customs. Sometimes women rule. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, in different tribes. I think where she was at, she ruled. Huh?
Now, I was getting ready to say, made that long journey up to Israel, all got to go through Egypt. Maybe she had took the boat up the river or something.
Yeah, she probably crossed or she went around.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It looked like she went around. It looked like she went around.
Because she was on horses.
Yeah, but I just go to show you just how far Solomon fame went. He fame went all the way from there, all the way down into Egypt, Ethiopia, and see. That's how far his fame went. He was known all over. He was known everywhere, right? It wasn't just some like trying to say, "Oh man, we're just a little local kingdom," right?
Because as you go down to Ethiopia, you're gonna see Solomon's name all over the place too.
Yeah. Also in Spain too. There was a guy that died in Spain, and his gravesite. He says he was a servant of Solomon that they found. This is like years later. He was sent over there at that time to, I guess, to collect taxes from Spain over there. That's where he was stationed at, right? And that's where he died. But he mentioned who he was when he died on his tombstone. So he go back all the way to the time of Solomon. And we also have this in the Bible too as well. The Solomon had 13 men. Each man was over a provision of the month, right? And also over one of the tribes to make sure the tribes are in order and the provisions. You know, there was also paying their taxes and being online, right? But the text tells us that he had 13 of them, right? And that goes back into the month. There was sometimes there is a leap month. And this guy, if they have 12, you're missing a month when it's a leap month. The text tells us there was another guy there that covered that 1 month, showing you that there was a 13-month. People are saying that there wasn't one. Yes, there was one. Otherwise, explain this guy here then. It was all these guys over a particular month. So says the text. So we do have it in text. It's there and it's also in Ezekiel. And Ezekiel on the side, but for 390 something days. That can only be possible with a 13 month. If you know math, you know what I'm saying? So this 13 month is in the text.
So you think it was 30 whole days out of the 13 month too?
Yeah, but we had the 30, yeah. Brother, that something has changed from that time to our time. Because as me and brother Alan Nathaniel will testify to you, bro, we have counted that new moon, and sometimes it's 29 days. It's 29 days, brother. Even though it's kind of like 29 point whatever you want to, you know what I'm saying? But it's still roughly 29 days. You know what I'm saying? Now if you're doing a round off thing, you can round it up to 30. But then you want to do that, I guess that's how you're gonna do it. But it's like 29. Go ahead.
With this new moon, I did observe it like coming in clearer and getting thicker as the night went on. It just got a little thicker and thicker. I'm like, wow. So that happens fast. Like you can actually change with your eyes.
Yeah, that sliver to me, observing it comes in different sizes beginning the new moon. Sometimes it's real thin, sometimes a little bit bigger, sometimes a little bit bigger, right? And I think when it was a little bit bigger, it's 29 days. When it's a little thinner, it's 30 days. I think that sliver is telling us how long the month's going to be right at the beginning. If you notice it.
If you know, you gotta. I mean, if it's like that, you really have to you have to learn it, like the notice it like that. You know,
you have to learn it. Yeah, like it says, observe it.
Con, yeah.
Take a look at it. But I mean, after a while, the priest of that, they get used to it. Say, oh, I got it. I see what's happening here. Boom. Okay. That thickness is this. That thinness is this, and they get it. You know what I'm saying?
And you know, another thing about, I just want to say about the moon, like another thing about, it actually like raises in a different position, like depends on like what time of year it is too. So like you can always probably tell, like, if you learn it like well enough, you actually know what time the seasons is because where the position is in the sky.
Yes. It's constantly moving.
Yep.
Constantly moving. Raises on different times, again, and then also sometimes you see they're both on one side. The sun and the moon is on one side.
I've seen it before.
And that shouldn't be happening on a globe. Yes, sir.
No, I was just
So
around the circles. Sometimes the sun will be right here when I leave. And then when I get over there, they'll be on the other side when I get to my job, to the west. So I was going around the circle, the globe.
It's also going down.
Going down while
yeah. It
Going down.
go up and down and across. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like what
It's some crazy movement because one time I'm
it does.
driving down Adams, the street, and the moon looks like it's under the street. Hold on, man, I'm gonna drive into the moon right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because it's all big too.
And huge, it's down.
Yeah.
Like it's right. I'm like the moon is right there.
Right.
You drive to it. You seen that before?
Yeah, I see it. I was telling I want to play it about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. You see it. 30 times a year. I don't know how they saying this. It's so far away. It's in outer space. Dude, it's right there. You're talking about.
Hey, but you gotta go by the. You gotta pass by the water to go to it. You know that, right? Like the water's gonna be playing.
They just make themselves look dumb, the more stupid every damn day. And then they think they're smart, they're so stupid.
Yeah, but that was that way because we're not used to looking at these things like we know it today. You know,
right?
We brainwashed thinking there's somewhere out of space, and so we don't pay attention.
Right.
When you see it this close to you, you don't register in your brain that it's right there. You know.
You know what's even crazy because where I live, I can actually see it like where my balcony, I can actually see it when it rises. So sometimes I look at it like when it rises like in a straight line up. So it's like, and then it goes across. So it's like, if the earth is rotating like that, like how is that like going in a straight line up? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't because again they said Earth is tilting the axis too.
Right, all that, all that too, yeah. But it goes in a straight line up, and you sit there and watch it. You can actually just watch it, like just sit there chilling, like it just like you can see it like go straight up, like horizontally,
Yeah, that whole axis tilting is hilarious to me, brother. It's hilarious. Why is it tilted to the side like you're pouring some water out of it or something? That just is.
But that's what's going to. They got to do something to create that gravity.
How you get gravity? It's tilted. Gravity gonna be tilting as all.
But the gravity is what keeps you, it keeps you from not falling off. You know what I'm saying? Keeps you from standing straight up. Otherwise, you'd be like losing balance, going like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mad gravity. If I go through that balloon up there, you can't do the balloon. You can't do the balloon though, but it can do with me. Yeah, I got you for sure. That balloon is more powerful than me, right? Yeah, balloon.
Oh, yeah. It's more powerful than anything, man. But for some reason, it doesn't affect the birds.
Look at the birds, look at the balloon.
Right.
Wow, crazy.
Right. Yeah. Right.
All right, let's go back to Isaiah 43.
Yeah, we're in verse 5.
In verse 5. Come on, go ahead.
Okay, reading from the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 5, it reads, "Fear not, for I am with thee. I will bring thy seed from the east and gather thee from the west."
That's where we are. See, we in the west, right? Again, this is another verse out of Nathaniel for them brothers this morning. Because are we not in the west? This is the west,
right?
Right?
Yeah.
Why would you gather us from where we're supposed to be?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, we're supposed to be. I mean, there's so many questions. Like I was thinking, like, I said, a picture's worth 1,000 words. That topic's a million questions, and I'm like, dude, I was like, where's Jordan? Where's Egypt? Where's like all these places supposed to be around Israel? Like, where those places? Like,
yeah, they teaching Israel is here in North America. That's one of the wildest things.
Well, he's learned how to teach us, to be fair. He's learned how
in Africa. That is
so
crazy.
it went from Africa, Israel is in Africa to Israel is in North America.
Israel is in North America, brother. Yeah, two brothers this morning, brother, trying to
what's next?
show us some information.
What's next? Israel's in Japan now. Next,
Yeah, brother.
Japan's an island.
They bouncing all over.
they definitely gonna say that.
They bouncing all over the place, bro.
No, but I think one of the problems with that is because they're actually like, because they come from the thing like they're saying, like, melanin and milk and honey. There's so many things that are here that aren't across the world, but we don't like, that's today. That wasn't like that back then. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it is today. You know what I'm saying? There's like so much time has passed by since they wrote the scriptures, and now, you know what I mean? So
Right.
that doesn't really mean that this place is that. They didn't like that. It's a reach to be able to say this is Israel, man, but they need to do some more work to figure it out, to make it better, a better argument. I'll tell you that much.
Brother, that's one of the tallest order they have to prove that. To prove
Yeah, for real.
America. You know what stuff you have to prove?
Yes.
I was like, man, brother, y'all listen, and these guys just came in. They're like they've been in 30 years, 40 years where they seasoned and kind of like none of that. So I'm like, why would y'all start here?
Right.
Like a bar was saying, listen, would y'all start with the milk, man? You know what I'm saying? Start with something.
Yeah, that was good advice.
Build yourself up to something like that.
Some of that. Straight to the meat, man.
Listen, I don't know who can prove that. I'm just trying to say, I don't know who can prove something like that. That Israel is in North America, brother. That's
where Egypt supposed to be.
Listen, that's the where Egypt is, where the Red Sea crossing is.
Right.
Where you got to establish where Midian is, Arabia is, where Edom is, where Moab is, is, the Philistines are, the Syrians are. I mean, you can go on and on.
All that, man. All that. And none of the places are named this here, but they all critical across the other side of the world.
All critical. But I don't encourage them, man. I said, brother, we need teachers. If y'all gonna do that, go do it. Y'all gonna go do it. And bring back the information that you have. You know what I'm saying? Because I would definitely love, I want to see it.
Right, me too.
If that's possible, I definitely want to see it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, if it's here, that's good for us, isn't it?
Right, Con.
Ain't gotta go nowhere. Christ ain't gotta come. Right. We already where we're supposed to be.
Right.
Yes, sir.
I was thinking there is a way that this could be it. If they really hid everything and masked everything, we are here. Well, I mean, I think all the tribes probably be right here.
You know you have to now show us.
Yeah, but that would work.
Ephraim land was.
That would make it. Yeah, that would make it. It's not here.
You have to cover all of North America with all the tribe allocation.
Israel had it.
Right. Where and you still got to find out where we still got to find the Jordan. We need the Jordan somewhere.
That could be the Colorado River, though. Red Sea.
Who?
The Colorado.
Yeah, the Red Sea.
Colorado River?
Nah,
Colorado. You were talking about the Mississippi River.
You think that's where John was baptizing at? In the Colorado River?
No. So then we'll have to go there, really east.
But in other words, this is where Christ died. He died over here, right?
Right.
John died over here. The crucifixion site is somewhere over here. The tomb is over here somewhere. All this question down there.
The Mormons teach. The Mormons teach that.
To teach what?
That Christ was over here and all those stuff. That's what they teach.
Yeah, I think that he visited here. All they teach that he died here on the cross. All they teach.
They probably didn't do that. Okay.
They did. I mean, years ago I heard that Christ he visited North America. You know what I'm saying? How true it is, I don't know.
I believe that.
You believe he visited North America?
No, I heard about that.
Come.
He came to North America and visited the Native Americans.
And converted them?
Yeah, supposed to be in the Book of Mormon somewhere.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about.
Listen. I've never read where a North American Indian was a believer in Christ. Now, what tribe was a believer in Christ?
They believe in Buffalo, Great Buffalo.
The records don't say that. They have a thing called the Red Record. Have anybody know what the Red Record is?
No, I've heard of that.
The Red Record they claim is supposed to be forged and made up. But when you read the Red Record read like Genesis chapter 1.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
The Noah flood.
Yeah.
So what?
Fact check me. The red record. You can go look. You can go Google it or look it up. Whatever.
What
Download.
is a great record? Who?
And it reads like Genesis. There's one great God and made everything. And it talks. We just like kind of read just like Genesis, bro.
Wow.
That was about a flood and these men and people in the ship. The red record talks about that.
No way.
All history adds up to the Bible.
Yeah.
At least most
I
of
mean,
it.
that ain't the only one. There's some of the cultures that have the similar stories, like reads in Genesis chapter 1 about a worldwide flood, right? And 8 people surviving and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, I need proof that Indian tribes over here believed in Christ and Christ visited them. Yes, sir.
And they do say it was some black people here before them.
Definitely.
Taught them the game.
Definitely.
They always go back to that.
Definitely. Again, anybody can find out. It's called They Came Before Columbus. After the source, They Came Before Columbus, right? By Dr. Ivan Van, forgetting his last name.
Okay.
Anybody can Google it. They came before Columbus, and he had the documentation where the North American Indians they have in their records that there were black people here before them.
So they probably the ones taught them about the flood and really taught them about
different things like that.
Not Genesis, but their version of God.
Again, their record don't say they were Israelites neither. I don't know where they're getting that from. Let's finish up here in Isaiah 43.
Yeah, in verse 6.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, reading from the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 6, it reads, I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far and my daughters from the ends of the earth.
From the where?
Ends of the earth.
From the ends of the earth. Bring my sons and my daughters from the ends of the earth. That's where Israel is scattered. Are we not right now at the ends of the earth? The beach is right there.
Yeah, that's the end. And you can't go no more west than that.
These are majority of the places where Israelites kind of resides when they're scattered, right? From the ends of the earth. Different places where they were. The Israelites. So when it said the sign went into all the world, into the end of the world, and it went to the ends of the earth where Israelites were inhabited. That's where the prophets was going and their voice went all the way there.
Because there was normally ships here by boats.
The prophets was traveling, going all over the place, man. The Israel that was scattered abroad. All right, last verse.
Verse 7. It reads, even everyone that is called by my name.
Clearly, right? Even everyone, so we're not getting it mistaken. The people at the ends of the earth is clearly everyone that is called by my name. Go ahead.
For I have created him for my glory, and I have formed him, yea, I have made him.
There it is. You know who's talking about, we're not confused. Who's at the ends of the earth. Everyone that's called by his name is what he's there speaking of.
Yeah.
Right? So we clear.
So what Job, what tribe, I mean, what was Job?
What was Job?
Yeah, was he an Israelite or?
No.
He's from Earth.
Job wasn't an Israelite.
But he goes to the time around before Moses or a little around his time?
He goes a little time right before Moses. Moses was young when Moses was young, like a baby. That's what the time he was, around that time, when he was in Egypt becoming a nation. That's the time of Job, time of Job. So, but again, he was he come from an area of near Mesopotamia, where in that area, a lot of men in that area knew about the Most High. Right? He ain't the only one. You have our forefather Abraham, who comes from that area, right? Know about the Most High. We have Job, who comes from that area, right? Early Chaldeans, right? He comes from around that area too as well. And then we also have Balaam, right? Balaam comes from that area as well. And we see all three men know about the Most High, right? Again, and all three men, as we know, we're not Israelites,
Come.
but they do know about the Most High, have contact with the Most High God.
Now they would be Gentiles. That would be, what would they be considered?
Gentile, non-Israelite.
Okay, but accepted by Israel, or would they still?
No, that's not about Israel.
Okay.
I mean, Job was. I mean,
Yeah,
be clear,
Job.
Job was. We got Job book in our records and archives, right? Not Balaam.
Yeah.
We had to put him to death because he tripped. He trying to curse us, man. You gonna curse us for money.
Abraham was a father of many nations. So.
Yeah, definitely. But again, I have no issue with Job. Again, we don't have an issue with non-Israelites being in the kingdom. It's the problem is the position. They're trying to put them equal, and that's where the issue comes in at. Right? That's not
Enoch.
Huh?
What did Enoch seen before he said he seen New Jerusalem or something?
No, he see the Lord coming to take vengeance on those people. What he said, he's the prophecy. I think we saw the Lord coming with 10,000 of the saints to bring the vengeance. I think to his enemies. Yeah. It looked like that transpired sometime in Deuteronomy. It actually went down. All right, any other questions before we go back? Any other questions before we go back? All right, let's go back to the PDF here and scroll on down. All right, to the next one. Preaching for a witness, Matthew 24:14 meant a present message and proof with signs that Jesus was the promised Messiah unto all nations, was to extend this witness that should go in the Great Commission. And it said again, all nations. Again, we know that all these nations that I was talking about where the Israelites were scattered, right? In Mark, we read all the world. The word world is the Greek oikonomi, oikoumini, which meant the inhabited world as they knew it in their day and time. But usage of the word in that day meant different things and to different people. To the Romans, it was the Roman Empire. To the Greeks, it meant all the countries where their language was spoken. But to the Jew, it meant primarily the land of Palestine with all its tribes. And then later, exclusive of all areas where their people were scattered. So that's what it means there, the word world. So it's Palestine, all the tribes. Then it goes off to people, all of them that are scattered, the Israelite brothers. In Luke 2:1, it says, and it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. That's talking about Israelites. Surely this referred to the Roman Empire at that time. They taxed only their own empire. In fact, in Acts 11:28, a prophecy was made that there should be great dearth throughout all the world. It was probably a large area of the Roman Empire dealing with the Israelites. Yes, sir. I'm saying something?
No, it was if we can get food or
yeah, go ahead. Y'all can go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead. 1 second here. Hold on.
Hey, so it's a question. So this time with the Roman Empire, is this Pontius Pilate empire at this time?
Is this who you said?
Pontius Pilate, no, it's Caesar Augustus, right?
No. That's talking about Christ, you saying?
Yeah, also the empire said the Roman Empire. Like who was leading this a Roman Empire at this time? Was it Pontius Pilate or?
No, he's a governor.
Oh no, well, who was leading at this time? That's what I was
asking. Claudius.
Okay.
But between Christ's time and to the 70 AD, you had a few of them.
Oh, so it wasn't like it was. So it was. Oh, okay. So it was. Oh, okay. I didn't know it was like it was.
Yeah, it was Claudius. I think Claudius was next. Then after Claudius, you had Caligula. Caligula, who said he was a god.
Wow.
He said he was a god. He he was off the chain, bro. He was he was cruel. He if you don't call him as a god, he was off with your head. He was not playing. And people said that he was, they showed when I earlier they showed the picture like he was gay and all that kind of stuff, and how he was moving that without in the history. I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying?
You know, he wasn't the guy that was talking about Emperor's New Clothes. That wasn't him, was it?
Emperor's New Clothes.
You ever heard that story, the Emperor's New Clothes?
Kind of. I don't remember it fully though.
No, Emperor's New Clothes was like this dude was naked.
Yeah,
so that was like a little outfit, or whatever. But like, people like it's kind of like the elephant in the room. Like people didn't want to talk about like, dude, you ain't got no clothes on.
God.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, so where'd you find? How'd you find out about these Roman empires? Like, what books did you read?
I'm gonna get you the book right now.
Okay, no problem.
I'll pull it up right quick to show you. 1 second.
All right.
All right. Hold on.
Shrimp, lobster, catfish.
And while you were muted, man, I was looking at my phone, man. It looked like there's another story about the CEO with that got killed, man. It looked like there's another twist to it. Looked like coming. I was looking into that right now. Like it looked like some insider trading or something, like another story about that now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tony.
No, I got you. Just one thing.
Yeah, we can get that story. We're gonna get to that for sure.
Get over that.
We're gonna get to that. Yeah, definitely. Let me continue. What did this expression also to all the nations meant in Acts 2:5, where it says, and there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men of every nation under heaven. In verse 9 to 11, these people are described as being Parthians, Medes, Elamites, Mesopotamia, Judea, Cappadocia, Pontus, Asia, Phrygia, Pamphylia, in Egypt, and in parts of Libya and Cyrene, and strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes, Cretes, and Arabians. As can be seen, there were people from known parts of the world as recognized by the Jews at that time. The idea was not present concerning many nations in the world today. In fact, many of the nations of the world today were not even in existence at that time.
What?
Yeah, all of the people today, nations, they weren't even existing at that time. In the first century, they weren't even there. Couldn't talk about
Came in the land and started hogging the name.
Yeah, people just came about, you know what I'm saying, after the first century.
Yeah, think about even this nation here wasn't really existing at the time. So
say again.
Even this nation that we're in right now wasn't existing like as it is at that time.
Yeah. But the people mentioned in this passage came from the known world of that day. This is the world that Jesus told the disciples to reach with the gospel message, and then said that when that witness had been made in all nations, the end would come. During the lifetime of Paul, this had been accomplished. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, set in the holy place, whosoever readeth, let him understand. Matthew 24 and 15. All right. Let us see what Jesus was talking about in this passage. All right. Can we get this right here? We're going to read it. We're going to read this right here. The Jewish abomination of desolation. In Jewish terminology, an abomination was anything that involved the worship of false gods to good places. Can we get that in 1 Kings 11? 1 Kings 11:7.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, we have it here, but I'm just going to read it too as well.
Okay.
And so y'all have to read it so we get the contents here. 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 7. We got that? Can go ahead and read it.
All right, I got it. I'm reading for the book of 1 Kings, chapter 11, verse 7. It reads, Then did Solomon build an high place in Chemesh, and the abomination of Moab in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon.
So you see the abomination is these idols, right?
Yeah.
When Christ is speaking of the abomination of desolation, he's definitely speaking of some kind of idol worship along with some kind of destruction attached to it.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
During Josiah's reformation, these places, abominations or defiled by the king, 2 Kings 23 and 13. Now, the reference to Daniel, let's get that. When Jesus referred to the abomination of desolation in verse 15, he said that it had been spoken of by Daniel the prophet. What did he mean by this? Jesus was referring to Daniel 9:26 and 27, 11 and verse 31 and 12:11. Let's get Daniel chapter 11, verse 31 first.
All right.
Daniel chapter 11, verse 31 first. Right? While you're getting that, I'm going to continue to read. It says, years later, Jeremiah 4:1, the Lord told Israel to put away her abominations so she will not be removed. In Jeremiah 13:37, he warned them that he would see the abomination of the hills and in the fields. Later in Ezekiel 5:11, God told them that because they have defiled even his sanctuary with all the abominations, that he would not spare them, nor have pity on them. And as we know, they were finally taken into the Babylonian captivity. All right, we got it in Daniel chapter 11, verse 31.
31.
Go ahead.
Daniel chapter 11, verse 31. And arms shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolation.
Right, so that's talking about placing a statue somewhere up in the Holy Land or in the holy place.
Okay.
According to Daniel here, the abomination that maketh desolate. All right. Look at the next one in Daniel chapter 12, verse 11. Daniel chapter 12, verse 11.
Daniel chapter 12, verse 11. And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolation set up, there shall be 1,290 days.
Right, so that's 3 years and 7 months, right? Anybody can fact check me.
And look, I just thought of something that from this morning, man. So like there's one thing that they didn't OB and them probably didn't put in consideration. It's like these things with these idols and all this stuff that they did in the land, especially with the kings and stuff. It probably cursed the land where they probably weren't able to do like the trees and all this other stuff in that land already. You know what I'm saying? From that, just like that part of it that made it from a land of liquor honey to kind of like what it is today. Would you think that'd be possible?
Con, yeah, that's it right there. That's why the land became desolate, because of the Israelites' abominations.
Right.
Right. Then again, they went into Babylonian captivity because it wasn't keeping the sabbatical year either.
Oh yeah, that's true.
The land couldn't rest.
Right. Yeah, that's important too as well. Yeah.
How can the land remain milk and honey when you overworking the land?
Right. all that stuff going on. You know what I mean? Like not resting and all the defilement you put in the land too as well.
All the filth.
Yeah.
I'll get the last one in Daniel chapter 9, verse 26 and 27. Daniel chapter 9, verse 26.
I got that one.
Go ahead.
Reading from the book of Daniel chapter 9, verse 26, 27, and it reads, And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself, and the people of the prince shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. And the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the world desolations are determined.
Right. So we have that here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Christ spoken of by Daniel. You're gonna go down here, right? It says Antiochus Epiphanes and his abomination. According to Jewish history recorded in the Apocrypha, these pages in Daniel's were fulfilled in their intercal period, right? That's between the Old and New Testament, right?
Mhm.
It is recorded for us in the Apocryphal book of First Maccabees. This book records how Antiochus Epiphanes, who ruled Syria from 174 to 164 BC, came against Jerusalem, and that he did that the Jews call the abomination of desolation, right?
Yeah.
And entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light and all the vessels thereof. So now we understand at Christ's time, all that vessels that was in there was gone.
Wow.
There is no Ark of the Covenant, no candlestick, none all that. Basically, it was empty.
Right.
Like an empty temple. Or they must have remade, or they must have remade some remake of the candlestick and stuff. Because
right. It didn't even have like the fire that the Most High wanted the candlestick to burn on. None of that stuff is existent.
Yeah, all that stuff is gone.
Yeah.
You know, stuff that are originally made in the wilderness, all that stuff was taken right here by Antiochus Epiphanes. Took all this stuff.
Wow. Okay.
Right, but listen, these stuff is still here somewhere unless they melted it down.
Hey, do you think that's what the brother, I think Aharon was talking about, that he saw like those images? You think that's what he saw, like that they when they took that stuff? You think that's like what those images were?
It could be. I got to talk to him about it and Gabar about it. He was mentioning some kind of images. I didn't quite get what he was saying.
Oh, okay.
But it could.
It sounded like he was talking about the images. These images right here, like he's talking about the golden state, the candlestick. I think that might be what he was talking about.
That's probably what he was saying. Now in the 15th day of the month Caslu, in the 145 year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar and builded idol altars throughout the city of Judah on every side. So we have it here. Now on the 5 and 20th day of the month, they sacrificed upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of God, the altar on the outside. Antiochus, king of Syria, whose surname himself Epiphanes, which means the God made manifest. This name I saw the name got different meanings here. This Epiphanes name.
Really?
Yeah, he got multiple meanings for this name. I saw about 3 different meanings.
Okay.
The God made manifest. He had as his goal not only to put down Jewish resistance, but also to stomp out the Jewish religion. He even turned priests' rooms and the temple chambers into public brothels. In December 68 BC, the temple was dedicated to Zeus, and over the altar was placed a statue of Zeus, which resembled Antiochus. A pig was sacrificed on the altar itself, and was a filthy abomination in the sight of the Jews.
Oh, that's crazy.
They did a lot, bro. This guy right here is wicked, man.
Yeah, look like.
As the statue placed in the temple, the book of Maccabees says it was that of Zeus, and here Graziel says it was Jupiter. However, Funk and Wagnall's New Encyclopedia, volume 25, page 452, says that the Romans identified Jupiter with Zeus. So they were the same. Schofield Reference Bible says, page 915, 1917 edition, that only Daniel 11:31 referred to Antiochus Epiphanes, while Daniel 9:27 and Daniel 12:11 referred to a still yet future beast. But Josephus, the Jewish historian, indicates that Daniel 12:11 referred to Antiochus Epiphanes as well. Josephus says, as he told of the activities of Antiochus Epiphanes, he also spoiled the temple and put a stop to the constant practice of offering a daily sacrifice of expiation for 3 years and 6 months. And we read up there, it was, I think the text says, 3 years and 7 months. So Josephus said he was off a month right here. So the prophet Daniel says 1,290 days. That's 3 years, 7 months. So Josephus was off by a month. So he compelled the Jews to dissolve the laws of their country and to keep their infants uncircumcised and sacrifice swine's flesh upon the altar. Josephus, volume 1, 10 through 11. The interpretation of Matthew 24:15. But in AD 66 through 70, a similar situation to that of Antiochus Epiphanes was to occur in Judea and Jerusalem in particular. And Jesus knew this. It would occur when the pagan Roman armies would surround and besiege Jerusalem. Awful abominations would take place inside the temple by some of the Jews themselves. The holy vessels would be melted down by a wicked Jew. The priests, including the high priest, would all be killed. An ignorant man who knew nothing of priestly affairs would be chosen to be high priest. The daily sacrifices would cease on account of there being no priest to offer them. Drunkenness would occur in the temple. Thousands of Jews would die by the hands of other Jews. Wow. Finally, the Roman armies would break into the city, and the city and the temple would be destroyed. The temple would be burned, and the pagan soldiers and Titus, the Roman general, would enter the temple itself. Then the soldiers would place the images, the ensigns of Caesar, up against the eastern wall and worship them, calling Titus imperator. Such would be the total overspring of abominations that would occur at Jerusalem in AD 66 through 70. And it was at this time that Jesus spoke when he said, "When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whosoever readeth, let him understand." So that's the interpretation there that he says that it is. The parallel passages to this is found in Luke 21, 22, 21, where Jesus told the disciples, "And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee into the mountains." And this abomination of desolation, the pagan armies surrounded the city, and this was only the beginning of the abomination that occurred later in the temple itself. And as to the soldiers themselves, later, after the city was taken, Josephus tells us that the Romans brought their ensigns to the temple and set them over against the eastern gate, and there did they offer sacrifices to them. Josephus, volume 1, 456 to 457. Joseph Ernest Renan, he has a book, said the Romans planted their standards in the place where the sanctuary had stood, and as was their custom, offered them worship. This guy right here has a book. I don't know what the book is called. This guy right here, Ernest Rand, had a book where in the book, I have the PDF here. He talks about, matter of fact, let me bring it up right quick. He talks about the I think I did try to bring it up right quick. This guy did talks about the Israelites that fled, and he brings up Hamashiach Yahushai's family. He brings up their family. Right, he brings up their family. We bring it up here right quick.
Yeah, I just Googled him, so it looks like he actually wrote a number of books. He wrote one that says, What is the Nation? Life of Jesus. On the Nation, and he has a few of them, different ones. So
yeah, this one is the what's it called?
is that the name of the book? The Plight of Pillar by the Church? Is that the name of the book?
No, this is a chapter in the book. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, a chapter in the book. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
This is a chapter in the book.
Okay.
Like the Pella. Okay. This is page 150 to 152. The place selected by the heads of the community to serve as the principal asylum for the fugitive church was Pella, one of the towns of Decapolis, situated near the left bank of Jordan in an admirable position overlooking on one side of the whole plain of Gior, and having on the other precipitous cliffs, at the foot of which runs a torrent. No wiser choice could have been made. Judea, Idumea, Perea, and Galilee were in insurrection. Samaria and the coast were in very unsettled state owing to the war. Thus, Scythopolis and Pella were the nearest neutral city to Jerusalem. Pella, by its position beyond Jordan, must have offered much more tranquility than Scythopolis, which had become one of the Roman strongholds. Pella was a free city like the other towns of Decapolis, but apparently it had given allegiance to Agrippa II. To take refuge there was openly a vow to avow horror and revolt. The importance of the town dated from the Macedonian conquest, a colony of Alexander's veterans, man taken up their quarters, where the change of Semitic name of the place into another, which recalled their native land to the old soldiers. Pella was captured by Alexander Jantius. And in the Greek, inhabitants who refused to be circumcised suffered much from the Jewish fanaticism. The pagan population doubtless took new root, for in the massacre of 66, Pella was considered a Syrian town and was once more sacked by the Jews. Here we go. It was in this anti-Jewish town that the Church of Jerusalem found refuge during the horrors of the siege. Here it was at ease and looked on its tranquil abode as a sure place, a desert prepared by God. Here, far from men's tumultuous strife, the hour of coming of Jesus might be waited in peace. The community lived on their savings, and it was believed that God himself took it upon him to feed them. And many saw in such a lot, so different from that of the Jews, a miracle predicted by the prophets. No doubt the Galilean Christians had for their part betaken themselves to the east of Jordan and the lake of Bantanphia, and Galantius, the territories of Agrippa II, thus formed an adopted country for the Judo-Christian in Palestine that gave high importance to the band of Christian refugees. Was that it took with it, look, the surviving members of the family of Jesus. They still was here. They took with them the surviving members of the family of Jesus, who were treated with the most profound respect and designated in the Greek as despos vinai, the kingsmen of the master. We also soon see, in fact, how the Christian community on the other side of the Jordan was to be kept alive, Ibionism, that is to say, the van tradition of the words of Jesus. It was from it that the synoptic gospel were to rise. Okay, so we have that here. Yeah, so it's called Renee's Antichrist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Renee's Antichrist. This is the book right here.
Hey, I don't mean I was looking on YouTube this morning, man. You know, they have like a movie called like it's with the guy that played Hercules in a show, like it's like about the Antichrist coming. Have you heard of that movie?
Say it again.
I forgot the name of the movie that I've seen. It was like, you know, I don't know, like sometimes on YouTube they have like some movies and stuff you can watch for free. But it was like a movie starring the guy that played Hercules in the TV series. Like he started the movie. It's supposed to be like the coming of the Antichrist or something like that. I was gonna look at it, but I didn't look at it though. It was like a movie, like a whole movie. Like talking about the Antichrist coming or something like that. I guess That's supposed to be what the movie's about.
No,
Have you heard of it? Have you seen anything like that or no? I was going to look at it, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna look at it right now. But I was going to try to see like how accurate it was, what it was going to say. But I didn't get a chance to like try to. I got to look it up. I forgot the name of the movie actually. I thought that was crazy. I'm like, dude, they had a movie. They have an Antichrist coming. I was kind of want to see what it was about. Yeah, accurate it was though.
Yeah, I definitely want to check. Yeah, so what they're talking about. They're making any sense. Like, so the armies themselves were the abomination of desolation. So when Christ talks about that, he's talking about the armies of the Romans, right? So the armies themselves were the abomination of desolation. And notice, and considering the parallel passages in Luke 21 and 20, and in these verses, Jesus connected the Roman armies, which surrounded the city, with the desolation of that city, indicating that Jesus himself regarded those pagan armies as the abomination of desolation, or the abomination that maketh desolate. This is the very event which was the signal of the disciples to flee the city. Verse 21, even as in Matthew 24, 15 and 16, he told them that when they saw the abomination of desolation, they were to flee into the mountains. Some have taught that in Matthew, Jesus had in mind some sacrilege inside the temple itself, but such could not have been the signal to the disciples elsewhere in outside Judea, the city. And Jesus did specially warn those also to flee. Matthew 24, 16. Jesus did not say that just those in Jerusalem only were to flee, but those in Judea, all over the land, was to flee. All right, so we have that. Luke put it this way: let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let them which are in the countries enter it. So we have here, all this happened. I'm gonna slow down. Anyone can come back and go through the stuff here. I'm trying to scroll through it, but it's important to get this stuff on video, right? So we can understand that the majority of this thing seemed to have been fulfilled. I'm gonna come up with my objections, but I think all of it wasn't. So we have the holy place. So this is important to bring up right here. The holy place, not necessarily the holy of holies in the temple, right? If it be objected that the holy place meant the temple and not the city, it might be pointed out that in the Apocrypha, interbiblical writings, the holy place meant the whole area of the Holy Land. In 2 Maccabees 2, it is said, as he promised in the law, will shortly have mercy upon us and gather us together out of every land under heaven into the holy place, making the entire land the holy place. So the Jews considered the entire land as the holy place. This included the city and the temple, all of which were looked on as holy. The land was called holy, 2 Maccabees 1 and 7, and the city was called holy, 2 Maccabees 3 and 1. All right, so that's very important to understand. The holy place is speaking of the entire land, not just the temple. By standing in the holy place, or where it ought not, needs not to be understood in the holy temple, but Jerusalem also, in any part of the land of Israel, right? That's land of 49. Next one, it says, then let them which are in Judea flee into the mountains. So we have Jesus told the disciples to get out of Jerusalem as fast as they could, which we all know they did. You see, Josephus speaks of it here. They all escaped and got out, right? They say they didn't find no people that believe in Christ in Jerusalem at the time it was being destroyed. I'm just going to scroll down. Anybody can stop the video later on and come back to these things, all right? Stop it and read through it for yourself. It's going to be in the video. You can stop it and scroll through the stuff. I want to get down to the next point. These are just all the sources and evidence to corroborate what Christ is saying here actually happened within the first century. All right. All of it happening in the first century again. You can pause the video and go back and you can read to all of it yourself. I just wanted to get all of this on video so it can be known, so I can tell anyone, I got this on video, with the sources and everything else to explain it. Anyone can come back and just kind of go over the video, take the key points they want from the video, make that PowerPoint, make whatever they want to take from it and go from there. The next point here is for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. No, ever, no, nor ever shall be. Right, Matthew 24 and 21. The most tragic time in history of the nation of Israel was in AD 67 through 70, during the siege, the destruction of the city of Jerusalem by the Roman armies. Jesus said it would be a time of great tribulation, such as never had been before, nor ever would be again. This was the reason that Jesus had warned his disciples to get out of the city and to head to the mountains just as soon as possible. When they saw the army surround the city, this was the abomination of desolation, as discussed in previous section, and with the sign of the disciples to flee. Please note that that Jesus said, then shall there be great tribulation, not many hundreds or thousands of years or more in the future. The great tribulation talked about in Matthew 24, 21 took place during the days of the siege of Jerusalem in AD 67 through 70, and the tribulation to the Jewish people and not to the Christian people. It was pointless to separate this tribulation mentioned here from its contemporary setting and move it out of place to a time neither just before or just after the future second coming of Christ, as so many do. The Great Tribulation is an actual historical fact, and we need not try to make anything else out of it. The Great Tribulation is not a period of time in our future. It already happened years ago. We have it here for Daniel said the Great Tribulation, right? The word for gives the reason for the flight of the disciples. This was a local matter with them in Jerusalem and Judea, and not something that applies to people in our future. All right, you have all the sources here. Let me continue down. We almost finished here. Say, God preserved his people from the days of that great tribulation which came upon the land of Israel and on Jerusalem, in particular in AD 67 through 70, by following Jesus' instructions to get out of the city and the country when they saw the army surrounding the city of Jerusalem, and thereby secure for themselves safety and security during that awful time of tribulation. Okay, so we have it here in Luke again. Trying to find the one where the massacre that took place in there. It says for the day it would have taken for the complete destruction of Jerusalem was shortened. First, because of the Roman general Titus waiting to get the siege over with as soon as possible, and secondly, because of the internal strife and warning among the fictitious Jews themselves. The factions of Jews themselves, by their killing one another, by their burning their provisions, and the ensuing famine as a result, and by their disregarding their fortification, so they were easily taken. Jesus said that if those days were not short, absolutely no one would have survived. So terrible was the situation. The opinion of Titus was that God had shortened those days. In speaking of no flesh being saved, Jesus was not here referring to the total world. He was speaking about no flesh of the Jewish nation upon whom those dire calamities would be coming. This verse does not pertain to a dispensational futuristic time, but to those events of the judgment upon Israel. Those days of verse 22 are the same as those days of the great tribulation of that same verse, which occurred then, verse 21, when the abomination of desolation in verse 15 was seen. Let's see, and we have that. Okay. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch as that if it was possible, they would deceive the very elect. Matthew 24, 23 to 34. appear on the scene about that time, promising deliverance to the people, and that would be given to the person of Rome. But for these men that actually appeared the Messiah, it was necessary to demonstrate the authority of different signs and wonders. This they did in various ways in order to deceive the people. We have many prophets that came up and did different things. So when Josephus speaks about them here, so Josephus mentioned one false prophet to urge the people to get up into the temple and to await signs of the deliverance. He said a false prophet was the occasion of these people's destruction, who had made a public proclamation in the city that very day that God commanded them to go up to the temple, and that they should receive miraculous signs of their deliverance. Now there was then a great number of false prophets suborned by the tyrants to impose upon the people, who denounced this to them, that they should wait for deliverance from God. Josephus 4:54. So this says, behold, I have told you before, Matthew 24:15. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he's in the desert, go not forth, behold, if he's in a secret place, believe it not. And commenting on this verse, we got John Gill. Okay, I'm going to scroll through it. We have it here. And John Gill said about that. The translator of Josephus said, we have that there. We got the source. I'm just trying to scroll to get to everything. And the last part here is immediately after. No, this part of it says, for as lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. I covered this thing last week, the verse right here. He's speaking of the eagles of the Roman army gathered together, and the carcasses are the dead people. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Matthew 24, 27-29. And this is where it gets kind of shaky. In this section, we shall see how Christ, the true Messiah, would make his appearance. Right? We know that Christ came back. He did a 1.5 or 2.0. Says, for as lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. We have that, right? So I want to touch on the last thing, this section here, but I want to touch on Christ 1.5 or 2.0. Right. So also the coming of the Son shall man be, and this is speaking of apocalyptic, of that day, saying, speaking of apocalyptic language, isn't literally the sun darkened and all this, the lightning flashing, and they saying Son of Man. So I'm just scrolling now. You can see what they're saying. They saying that means that Christ taking vengeance of that exceeding wicked nation is called Christ coming in glory, and he's coming in the clouds, the day of the Lord. So they're saying when Christ is saying these things, this is what it means. It means him taking vengeance on them, vengeance taking on them. That's what it means. Him appearing, right? And so where some of the carcasses, there will be the eagles be gathered together. Matthew 24:28, and we have it there, and that should be the end of it, right? Yeah, we have the whole thing, right? We stop it there. Close that there. All right, so we have the two. Let's get a 2.0 real quick. We can wrap it up and be done. Acts chapter 9 real quick. We're gonna get about 3 scriptures and then we done.
I'll take this.
And let's get right to it. Acts chapter 9. And let's start at verse 3.
Come. Acts chapter 9, starting at verse 3.
Hold on, let me what happened up here? Okay. Let me bring it up right quick. See this right quick.
Are you calling this Christ 2.0, this part right here?
1.5.
1.5. Okay, brother. All right.
Go ahead.
Okay. Acts chapter 9, starting at verse 3. And as he journeyed, he came near Damascus, and suddenly there shined round about him a light from heaven.
Go ahead.
And he fell to the earth, and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecute thou me?
Go ahead.
And he said, Who art thou, Lord? And the Lord said, I am Yahushua, whom thou persecutest. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks.
Right. So we have there. So that's either 1.5 or 2.0. All right. Whichever one you want to call it.
1.5.
And the next one, let's get Acts 26, verse 13 to 18. Acts 26, verse 13 through 18. Acts 26, verse 13 to 18.
I'll take it.
This one up here. All right, go ahead.
All right, reading from the book of Acts, chapter 26, starting verse 13, it reads, At midday, O king, I saw in the way a light from heaven above the brightness of the sun, shining around about me and them which journeyed with me.
So we got more details here. The light was above the brightness of the sun, right? Shining around about him. Go ahead.
Verse 14, and when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me and saying in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks.
So now we have the language it was sent to him in. It wasn't the Hebrew tongue, and we see the Lord calling him by a Hebrew name. The Lord didn't call him Paul. The Lord called him Saul. Let's be clear what the Lord called him. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 15. And I said, that who art thou, Lord? And he said, I am Jesus whom thou persecutest.
Go ahead.
Verse 16. But rise and stand upon thy feet, for I have appeared unto thee for this purpose, to make thee a minister and a witness both of these things which thou hast seen, and of those things in which I will appear unto thee.
Yeah, maybe Christ said, I have appeared unto thee. So that's 1.5 or 2.0. I would say, let's call that 2.0.
2.0?
2.0. Right? Okay. He came to Paul to make him a minister and a witness of both these things which thou hast seen, and of those which he said, in which I will appear unto you.
That's right.
So that's 2.5, right?
Yeah. That's some stuff that I don't even know what that would have to be. That's some out of body experience type stuff.
God. Go ahead.
Verse 17, delivering thee from the people and from the Gentiles, unto whom now I send thee.
Yeah, there you go again. There you go again. To the Gentiles, right here.
See, man, they grabbed it in, bro.
There it is right there, brother. See that eye? He's sending them to the non-Israelite eye. Right there, brother. The people is and the Gentiles. The people is Israel. The Gentiles is the other nation, brother. Right, man.
Are you going to keep going?
Come.
Okay, verse 18 says to open their eyes and to turn them from darkness to light and from the power of Satan unto God, that they may receive forgiveness of sins and inheritance among them which are sanctified by faith that is in me.
Here it is, clear, right? Yes. From the power of Satan, right? Do you guys know where Satan reigns at?
Yes.
Where?
The prince of the power of air, right? Is that the in the air? No.
Where
does he reign chiefly?
The church. Oh, here on earth. He's the God of this.
He reigns friends on earth, but where else?
I don't know the answer.
Chiefly, where does he reign chiefly?
Tyree.
There you go.
What did he say?
Satan reigns chiefly in your mind.
Mind, con.
Why you think these people move the way they move?
Yeah.
Because Satan is reigning in their mind.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Right.
We are supposed to replace that with who?
Christ.
The Most High in Christ.
Con.
It's supposed to reign in. It's supposed to reign in your hearts, meaning here.
Con.
Yes. In your mind, yeah.
Satan is reigning in these people's minds, and that's what they talk the way they talk, and they do the things that they do. Because it's all satanic, is it not that they do?
Con. That is satanic.
Yeah.
Cursing,
Idol worship.
talking vulgar, about
Right.
women, men, women doing this stuff.
That's why people are looking for this being with a pitchfork, long tail, like he's sitting somewhere. He's reigning in people's minds all over the world. And that's why he said, man, I don't want to sit up on no chair. I'm in their minds. I got them. Right? Isn't the thing is, if you got the mind, you got the what? The body. If you got the mind, you got the body.
And then that's when they go off into drinking heavily, smoking heavily, eating the wrong
drunk driving, killing people, doing all kind of stuff. Satan is reigning there. He's controlling it. That's where he wants to be. That's where Christ comes. He's like, Christ is a threat to him because Christ will take his reign away in people's minds. That's the ultimate place. That's where it is.
That's why Christ told Peter when he told him, get thee behind me.
Yes.
Because it
was, right. He was trying to affect his mind, trying to get inside Peter's head to reign in Peter's head. And that's the problem. You don't want him to reign in your head. Right? And that's why I said, feed your spirit. The more your Bible you put in your mind, you can't reign there with that in there. You have to leave. But the left it in your head, he gonna jump right in and say, "Oh man, this is clean and garnished. This is empty. Ain't no scriptures in here."
I can decorate it.
I can decorate. There you go. I can decorate it, right? And bring more people with me.
7 legions.
More demons with me. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's shown in the movies like that. Last Omen, not the one that came out the first Omen. I'm talking about the one with Damien Thorne was in his early 30s. He had all those people that his disciples telling him that you're gonna find the Christ child, because it was supposed to have been born around March or something like that. He's supposed to make it sex. So he's thinking any baby that's born, you go out there and kill it. But he didn't know that that Christ was actually coming. It's a good movie. But he had everybody under his authority to look, and how he was controlling their minds. He had like millions of disciples.
Wow.
He had them from police officers to nannies to nuns to priests, everything. He was just
right. That's how Satan is reigning here in people's minds. You can be looking for if he's reigning, where's his kingdom at? In your head. Where it is. Let's get one more. Acts chapter 23, verse 11. Acts 23 and verse 11. All right, we got that.
I'll tell you.
Hold on. Let me pull it up. What I said, 23
and 11.
Yeah, so they can see it in the video. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Acts chapter 23, verse 11. And the night followed the Lord stand by him.
The night followed, Christ stood by Paul. Go ahead.
And said, be of good cheer, Paul, for as thou hast testified of me in Jerusalem, so must thou bear witness also at Rome.
There it is. There go 2.5, right? Stood by him again after he was going to go to Rome. Don't worry. This is just showing you. I'm saying to myself, right? If we see here Christ is standing with Paul, then he's standing with Peter, James, and the rest of them. When the event's going to go down, Christ is here. Listen, this is about to happen. Don't worry. I'm with you. Do your thing. You know what I'm saying? That's remarkable to have that Christ come back and appear to you and talk to you. You have confidence. You know what I'm saying? Because if these men was murdered,
Right.
It's a lot to go there. They cry. Listen, you better go over here and listen. They gonna kill you, but I'm with you. Don't worry. Endure it to the end. That's a confidence booster to go into that situation.
And
See what I'm saying?
comforting them.
He's comforting them. Yeah, listen. When you come, I'm here. I let me get it. Lou, I got it. Here's why this is important. Here's why this is important, right? To help, you need something to help get you to go through that.
Mhm.
Like when Christ was when he was to die,
Mhm.
said he was sweating with drops of blood in his, like, right? It says an angel came and strengthening him, right? Help him strengthen him up to go through that, right? Can we get St. John chapter 14? Man, because when I kind of read this, it's kind of it's definitely a motivator. You're gonna get just two scriptures. We're gonna get this one and one more. St. John's chapter 14, and we're gonna get verse 1 and 2. And someone get me in the Apocrypha of Baruch chapter 3, verse 24 and 25. So get St. John's chapter 14, we get verse 1 and 2, and then in the Apocrypha of Baruch chapter 3, verse 24 and 25, and then we're gonna be done with it right there.
I have St. John chapter 14.
All right.
So you said Baruch what?
Chapter 3,
Oh man.
verse 24 and 25.
Yeah.
We're getting St. John chapter 14, and we're gonna get verse 1 and 2. All right, go ahead, brother.
I read from the book of St. John chapter 14, verse 1. It reads, "Not let your heart be troubled, yet ye beloved, believe in God, believe also in me."
Right, so don't let your mind get all troubled. You believe in the Most High, you know that they do. He said, believe in me also. Right? Go ahead.
It tells to the brother, man. The other dude. The Greek you thought you had a dialogue the other day. Verse 4, verse 2, it reads, in my Father's house are many mansions, and if it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you.
He said, I go to prepare a place for you, right? So
Right.
he said, listen, man, you're about to die, but I got a place waiting for you that I went to prepare already, right? But when Christ went to prepare, remember that he came back 2.0, right?
Right.
A place is prepared. I go to prepare a place for you, right? Go ahead. Read verse 3.
Verse 3, okay, and it reads, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again.
I will what?
I will come again.
I will come again. 2.0, right? He came again. Go ahead.
And I am receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also.
See that? So when he say you about to die, you thinking, I'm going to come out of this flesh, I'm about to go be with the Lord. You got a place. If Christ prepared a place for you, you can just imagine how immaculate it is. Remember, Christ said, listen, store your treasures in heaven. Christ said, listen, what you stored, I got it. It's prepared for you. I set it up for you. It's ready to go. You can come on, take a look at it. You know what I'm saying? Come enjoy it with me. When you tell me you're going to go die, get your head chopped off, whatever you have to go to the Romans, that's a little confident booster. Like, yeah, man, all right, cool. I can do it. I can do it. So I'm about to go to Most High's house, the mansion, right? All right, now the last one I want is Baruch. We got Baruch chapter 3, verse 24 and 25.
Baruch chapter 3, verse 24 and 25.
Yes, sir.
Baruch, the book of Baruch, chapter 3, verse 23 through 25. It has not been heard of in Canaan, neither has it been heard in Themar.
So that Baruch chapter 3, verse 24.
You want chapter 3, verse 24?
Yeah, Baruch chapter 3, verse 24 and 25.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was in 23.
I was in 23.
Go ahead.
No, I wasn't. Chapter 24. O Israel, how great is the house of God, and how large is the place of his possession. 25. Great and has none end. How
he said it's great and it has no end. How great is the Most High house? He said it's so great, it doesn't have an end. How big is that?
Unmeasurable.
Go ahead.
High and unmeasurable.
high and unmeasurable. You better go see a place you looking like, my goodness, where does it end at?
It don't.
And it's a high and immeasurable.
It don't stop.
A spiritual house.
Uh,
But I want to go see that.
oh man,
I'm trying to throw my treasures in heaven. That crack a prayer place for me, bro. See, that makes sense why the text says the angels were innumerable.
Mm-hmm.
They're in a place that don't have no end.
Wow.
How big is it up there, bro?
Wow.
How big is it up there? It's crazy. On another level, brother.
Man.
On another level, bro.
Mm.
Real. With that, let me end the live stream. With that, let me end the live stream.